Welcome, little one. This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right, men. Listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live in the galaxy far, far, far away. As always, I have to bring in the best super co-host I could ever ask for. He is the Sith sympathizer, Mr. Super Bro Corey himself. What's up, Super Bro?
Hello there.
Hello there.
What's up? How we doing today, buddy?
Ooh, my man.
Mm.
I want to talk about this episode. I want to talk about it so bad.
It was horrible.
Oh, sure. I won't lie to you guys. My wife got irritated with me watching this episode because so many things happened. Like it says in our thumbnail, theories confirmed. So many things that we predicted came true. And it's like, I almost felt like it was a scoop. Like I'm becoming the scooper supreme.
Man, we've hit I tell you what, we are killing it when it comes to Star Wars, bro. We, if you want to know what's going to be happening, you check out our channel. You like, you subscribe, you share that stuff because you're going to hear it first on the Bat Channel.
Apparently, and see, that's the fun. I think we're just paying attention to a lot of these details, and we're catching on what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau got going on, and it's getting me more and more excited with if they keep going in the direction I think they are, then I think we're gonna be in for a real treat for the finale. I'm just excited for it, Corey.
Well, I feel like we should talk about some of those things that you think are going to happen at the end of this episode.
We definitely will. And if I'm right, I'm right. You know.
No.
You guys,
what are we doing today, Trey?
What are we doing today?
What's going on today?
We're going to be breaking down the latest episode of The Mandalorian, Chapter 23, called The Spies. So if you haven't already, help our channel grow, guys. We've been putting in the work lately. I think 7 episodes this week. My goodness, it's been busy. So hopefully you guys have been checking out all of our trailer reactions going on, our Star Wars Celebration recap stream. If you haven't checked out that, you need to. We talked about everything, but more importantly, give us a follow on our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Bat Channel, or if you're still on Facebook, at Holy Bat Channel. It's a great way to DM us, tell us what's going on in your lives, or maybe tell us some of the things that you think we may have missed during our live streams, our breakdowns, or some of the Easter eggs that you guys caught, or maybe what you want us to discuss in the future. We love hearing from you guys. It's been awesome on Instagram. Some of you guys have been commenting on our stories, and we love to hear you guys talking about your favorite Star Wars games, some of your favorite Star Wars books. Keep hitting us up, guys. We love that. And as always, it helps us out so much. You guys smash that like, you share this video, you subscribe if you haven't already. Help us get to 2,000, guys. We're almost there. We can only do that with your guys' help. And then hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you feel like supporting us a little more, I think someone already did it earlier. Super chat goes a long way in helping our channel, because it goes right back in with renewing our subscriptions to StreamYard, a wonderful software that we use to do these live streams, or some of our other projects that we're working on. It lets us know that you guys are enjoying our content. So thank you, guys. If you have a question that you want us to bring up and discuss, Super Chat's a great way to get it highlighted so that we discuss it. Take some time to really break it down. So Trevor H, my man, coming in with that $5 Super Chat. Thank you so much, Trevor H. I love that. I love that logo you got going on, Trevor H. I noticed you changed that recently. Trey was spot on this last episode. Hashtag the Bat Channel was right. The Bat Channel was right. Z guys, double the E's, double the Z, double the flavor, double the right. Thank you so much, Trevor H. Corey, can you play Trevor H a little something to say thank you?
Absolutely. This one's for you, Trevor H.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
Judge us by the size of our channel, do you? No, we dropping that mad content here, bro.
Oh, you already know. You know, it's just one of those things, guys, where good things happen. Good things happen indeed. Corey, let's go ahead and bring in one of my favorite Twitch content creators of all time. He's killing it over there. He just did an awesome WWE stream that you need to check out, that he'll also be posting on his YouTube channel a little later. Mr. Orc and Beans 14.
I know we're talking about switching up some of the intros, but I have to play this one.
We have to do it today.
Hello.
How you doing?
If Corey is a Sith sympathizer, then I am a Lizzo and Jack Black stan. Let's just get it out of the way.
You know what? Because you did that, I'm gonna let you get some of the hate right now. Orc and Beans, tell us what you thought.
I liked the episode. I liked it. I liked Jack Black. I liked Lizzo.
Liar!
But it was fun. Did we need the episode? No. We only needed like the last 10 minutes. I thought it was fun. Zoltan! Trey doesn't like it. I thought it was an Adam West Batman episode because they got to be detectives, but there was a little bit of kookiness in it. I thought it was fun.
Zoltan. Orc and Beans was sipping on that blue milk, eating that cereal like Surreal Karn.
Red Hooded Outlaw, you're wrong. They
giving
were
them
awesome.
Weird secret sex eyes.
This is when I take my heel turn on everybody.
You got me choking on my own spit. My goodness.
liked it.
Well, you're wrong.
But if the episode never happened, it probably would have been better for the series. But I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Traitor!
It was funny because I messaged you guys in the group chat saying it, and no one responded. And I went, "Ooh, nobody agrees with me."
No, as soon as I saw it, I was like, you would like it. You Marvel fan. Not just kidding.
I thought
that's very Marvel of you.
It is.
I
It is
thought it
very
was
Marvel.
fun.
Just because it's fun doesn't make it right.
No, I don't think it's right at all. But it was fun.
Fair. Was it a fun episode? Sure. Just I didn't like the placement of the where it was in the season.
No, I agree. I think with how kind of slow the season has been, and there hasn't really been dramatic, there hasn't really been a vision of where we're going, and we're starting to get that now with this episode. It definitely did not need to happen, but it did happen, and I enjoyed it. I took what they gave me,
and you ate it up.
I ate it up. I thought it was funny. I laughed a couple times. I thought Jack Black and Lizzo would be great presidents, and I put that in one of your chat, and then I probably left your chat because everyone didn't agree with me.
Yeah, they're all hating on you right now.
Yeah,
Jack Black and Lizzo,
yeah.
We're awful. Orc, this is for you.
I can see my Twitch followers.
Traitor!
Yeah. Oh dear.
That's fine. That's fine. You can be disappointed.
That
was also disappointed. Everybody else.
That said, though, Delta Squad is forming up. We don't have Savage Bat here today, but we do have a wonderful, wonderful guest. She is also part of the Delta Squad. Let's bring her in. Retro Nerd Girl.
Retro. She is our Ahsoka. Oh my goodness. How's it going, girl?
Music is fire. How are you guys today?
I'm so pumped for this episode. Yeah. It was definitely, in my opinion, they were definitely setting us up from the last episode. I'll give you that, Orc. And we talked about that was another theory that we discussed where I was like, I think they're setting us up. This was such a lighthearted, fun episode. Everything's been going well for the Mandalorians lately. This next episode's gonna be dark. Something. In
the last 10 minutes was bad ass.
Oh yeah.
It took Bo another level. And it really solidified where everybody stands on the whole who should lead thing. We had always kind of talked about just didn't really want it. No, he proved that this, and does she want it? Yeah, she proved it, and she's a badass. She's so cool.
You know, I had a long conversation, Trey, with a guy at work who has been very into the Clone Wars, everything. He's watched every episode of Star Wars possible.
Oh, nice.
And I asked him if he had some of the same complaints as you did when it came to, Bo-Katan getting the Darksaber the same way. And he said no, because this time he feels like she's on the path of righteousness and doing it the right way this time. So I thought that was an interesting kind of rebuttal to what you kind of said as well.
You know what? That is a fair statement. If there was a better way of handling it versus Star Wars Rebels versus Mandalorian, even though they were practically the same outcome and the same way they went about it, this Mandalorian did it better than Rebels. The issue I had was that it wasn't original. We've seen it before. We've seen it go down this exact way in Rebels. You know, and that was more of my issue with it. But yes, did the Mandalorian do it better? Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But before we take a deep dive in, Trey, I think we should see who's all in the chat, my friend.
Yes. Who's all here?
We got Demain Stokely.
What's up, Demain?
Taladia Plays.
Taladia.
Bat Fanatic. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy.
Oh, man.
Beyond the Night.
Yes.
Red Hooded Outlaw.
Hi.
Oracle's Clock Tower.
What's up?
The Butler. The Batman Who Laughs. You know we had Trevor H drop in that super chat earlier. Thanks again, Trevor H, for that. Bat Fanatic. We have Super Bat Mom in the house.
Oh.
The Batman Who Laughs, Joker's Wild, and Skywalker the Jedi.
Hey.
What's up, Sky? It's good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well, my
I
man.
think I got everybody. If I missed you, I am sorry. There's a lot of people filing in today. What's up, everybody?
It's great to see you guys in chat. As I said earlier, if you haven't shared our stream yet, please go ahead and do that because we want to hear from everyone, especially as we're coming up on the final episode of Mandalorian, and we want to hear what you guys are thinking about so far this season, and particularly this episode, because I thought it was fire. I thought it was a good episode. Guys, I just want to jump right in because I was like jumping out of my seat throughout half this episode. It was just good. I liked it. It felt like we were getting back on track again with Mandalorian. All the complaints people had, this episode fixed it, or at least got us back on the right train here. Season 3, Episode 8, Chapter 23, called The Spies. Now, we've speculated for a long time that there were some traitors in the group of, the Mandalorians. Someone that didn't trust, that maybe doesn't have their interests at heart and is working with Moff Gideon and the Imperial crew. We know Kane, Laia Kane, she is, she's in the midst of it at Coruscant, pulling off a Blade Runner-like scene. My goodness, this was like so Blade Runner influence. She even had the jacket with the pop collar. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was just like, well, we're really, Coruscant is basically Blade Runner. I think that's just how they're going to go about it every time we see.
Well, her jacket
Coruscant.
also looked like the jacket that the dude she tortures had on.
Yeah, she's very dark and twisted,
I
isn't
don't like
she?
her.
Well, I mean, she's a wonderful villain. I do dig that about her.
As a watcher and reviewer of this stuff, I think the actress is great. The character, she's spooky, she's scary, she's evil. I don't like her.
That's fair. Corey, can you pull up the next slide, please, while you're at it? Let's go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Sorry, I was sending a link real quick.
Very good. So,
all right, let's bring it up.
Do it. And of course, this episode was directed by Rick F., who has been phenomenal for Mandalorian. He's been so good. But when they started this episode, we're on Coruscant, getting this very Blade Runner scene. They're in the slums, the bad part of town, essentially. And we see Kane kind of go off in the distance, find a little quiet place. And we see this Imperial probe droid come up. And we finally get our first appearance from Moff Gideon ever since the season 2 finale. Guys, were you surprised at Moff that this is how they handled his appearance, his return after being captured, to simply just like, bam, here he is, guys. There's no lead up really into it. It's just like, yep, he's here and he's working away on some things, and now we're gonna reveal a quick couple of answers that you guys have had. We're gonna start with Retro, then Orc, then Super Bro.
Well, I was really happy to see him. It was one of those things where I really wish this was the first episode, and we were getting like a juicy little scene from him there, but he was not sprinkled enough in the season. But I was just so happy to see him, and he just, every time he's on screen, it's like, this is great. So I loved seeing him on screen. He was fabulous, and of course, with him being there was a lot of questions that I had that were answered almost immediately, and that was also very satisfying. It's like, oh, finally we have answers to some of the burning questions that have been like dangling. So it was great to see him. I love the fact that in that scene you can see how afraid Laia Kane looks. She is typically very confident and she's like working and scheming, but here when she's talking to Gideon, she has fear in her eyes. And I'm also curious about that, like, what is it that he has over her? Why does he have so much power over her, that she is afraid and is very loyal to him? So So there's a lot to unpack in that scene. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and I think some of it comes from, we've kind of seen her be a bit ambitious, and I think she kind of gravitates to that with Moff Gideon. Like, clearly he has some very ambitious goals when it comes to taking over what's left of the Empire and kind of being the new face of it, which I think is going to be a theory that's confirmed later on too, with something I brought up yesterday. Orkin Beans, your thoughts about Moff Gideon's resurrection essentially into this show?
I'm not surprised on how they did it, because I feel like it fits his character, who he is. He is a man of secrets, and so the fact that, like, yeah, they sprinkled some stuff in there, but the fact that, like, he just shows up, that means he's doing what he does well. And we find out later on the episode, he's really good at hiding really big things. And so I wasn't surprised by it. I feel like it perfectly fits his character of who he is. He's a man of secrets, so of course he was so well hidden.
Yeah, I agree. Super Bro Corey.
Yeah, no, I actually liked it. I didn't mind the whole, oh, there he is on a digital screen brought to you by a droid. It was a bit just. They
you could do that.
The thing that I liked about it was it kind of said to me, and kind of what we all were kind of expecting, that Moff's been leading the charge from the beginning. Like that he's. The theories are right that he escaped. But not only did he just escape, he's already back in. He's already leading. He's already making changes and making a difference for the Empire. So yeah, I liked it. It just shows how badass Moff is.
Yeah, one thing that I really enjoyed about it is it did answer, like Retro and Orc said, it did answer a lot of questions for us. One, he was involved with the Pirate Gordian Shard when they were trying to take over Navarro. Why they were trying to take over Navarro is still a bit of a mystery to me. Maybe it's the resources that he's looking for, but what were we gonna say, Subro?
That's technically Outer Rim, right?
It is out, yeah.
I think that would make sense.
Create different bases just all around to kind of, in a way, surround the New Republic, right? So it was great to hear that. As we know, this episode is called Spies, plural. So that tells us that Kane is not the only spy, that there's someone else out there.
Yep.
Do you guys, before we really get into this episode and try to break apart who the other one is, just some initial theories. Who do you think the other spy for Moff Gideon is?
Currently, I have about 4 people, or 4 different people. But of course, I think the one that we've always kind of been pointing a shady finger at is the Armorer. And that's like the leading one. Even on the internet right now, it's just like, everybody's looking at all of her actions and how suspicious they've been, the reasons why it's so appropriate that she would be the deceiver, and in particular, one of the things that I really feel is that she was, one of the people who said, "Don't go to Mandalore. It's a dead place," and Din Djarin goes there and it's fine. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's livable, right? And so, the other thing is that the Children of the Watch. She is the leader, and has been guiding them all this time, and has told them, "Don't take off your helmet. Don't take off your helmets, and keep them on." And I'm wondering, maybe this is to make sure that her helmet stays on, because maybe her face or what she looks like gives away her allegiance. So I'm really curious as to if we can get to the bottom of what's going on with the Armorer, that would figure a lot of this out. Even if it's an honest reason, we still never ever got the answer. Why do that particular group of Mandalorians, why do they keep their helmets on? Which I thought was going to be the big answer this season, and it's still one of those mysteries. And there's a couple of people that they meet along the way in this episode that are very suspicious to me. And also we've got the people who left Bo-Katan, mainly Axe Woves. He's been working, for hire. He's been a gun for hire, so to speak. And so what if he, has been working secretly with Moff Gideon? It seems at some point during this episode he vanishes. It's not part of like the main battle, if you will. So I'm looking at him sideways right now.
I do like that. So guys, I did put a poll into the chat. Who is the other spy? The Armorer, Axe Wolves and Crew, Grief Karga, or other? If it's other, give us in the comments. Let us know who you think it is. So go ahead, hit that out now. What's that?
I just voted.
You just voted?
You did? Let me see if I can. Let me
see. So let us know your guys' thoughts. But yeah, that's I think there's many different options. There's many different fingers that we're pointing. I feel like a lot of people in the beginning were kind of pointing the fingers at Axe and that crew, and they were pointing the fingers at even Paz Vizsla at one point. And slowly you've started to see everything turn to where it's like, it's the armor. It's totally the armor. There's something going on with her. Yeah. So yeah, it's been cool how they've done this. I love kind of the paranoia that they've created amongst the audience to try to figure out who it is. Orkin Beans, your theories, sir.
I kind of agree with everyone with the armor. But my one that's like could be out there, but could also kind of make sense is Grief Karg. And with him giving them back the robot to Din, I feel like that would be kind of a huge plot twist. If like, oh, you saved my city, but then I betrayed you anyway, kind of thing. But I truly think it's the Armorer. But I just think it would be cool if this whole time that they've been trying to kind of feed us the idea that it's the Armorer, and then it's just someone completely different. Because the whole time that she was flying out of there, I kept thinking like the reason they kept giving like shots of her and then also shots of the fleet was like, oh, the fleet's gonna blow up right now, and then it never did. And so I was like, well, why did they do that? And I think it was just to kind of really start planting that idea that it's her. But it would be cool if it was somebody else.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they did do a bit of a twist now and like someone who we didn't expect at all. But I have a feeling
they said that there's gonna be a plot twist that's Luke Skywalker showing up type.
That is true. John Favreau did say that there was a
like
Luke Skywalker level cameo.
You ready for it?
We haven't had that yet, and I feel like something like that where like they're really pushing us towards one character being it, and then if it's not, that would be that moment.
That's what I was going to say as well. Like, obviously, right now they're trying to say it's the Armor, when actually it's Grogu. But actually, no. So the Armor is the one that it seems most likely right now, for sure. And it's definitely pointing that direction. There's why she's done a lot of questionable things. Why did it matter to go to Mandalore? Why are we bringing all of a sudden wanting to bring everybody together? It's just there's some things that may look suspicious, which gets me thinking, if it's not the Armor, I think it's very possible that they put a twist on it because they're pointing it too much at the armor. She leaves the planet perfect timing to bring the people to the ship. You know, it's just a lot of suspicious things going on. I'm going to put in who I think the major twist would be if it's not the armor.
Who?
Din Djarin.
No.
Otherwise, they would have killed Din Djarin right in front of everybody, right then and there. If you had him, I would have killed. Yeah, I would have killed him. I would have absolutely have killed him right there. If I was exactly like it would have been a beautiful like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn scene. Boom, shuts, and then all of a sudden, boom, they kill Din Djarin. Din Djarin's gone. No, they take him off somewhere
to the debriefing room.
To the debriefing room. It's going to blow my mind when it's Din Djarin, but whoa.
I mean, I guess if they truly wanted to make Bo-Katan the new Mandalorian, that's the best way to do it, is completely catch. But that also makes no sense in my eyes because Grogu's the one piece that it doesn't make sense. We both know that Moff Gideon wants Grogu. You know, it makes no sense for Din to turn now and be like, here, have him. You know, but interesting, crazy theory, Corey.
The money, bro.
By the lack of effort by Grogu to try to get to Din after he got captured.
Oh,
yeah, me too.
I noticed that. I was like, okay, he looks worried, but like, he's not doing nothing. So that kind of, I was like, you would think that like, oh my God, my dad's being kidnapped. I would try to use any of my force powers to try it. So I'm a little concerned by the lack of effort from
we'll dive into that a little deeper when we get to that scene there, but I thought it was curious, and I do have my reasonings for that because I thought the same thing, but we'll definitely talk about that. Good catch though. So yeah, as we hear from Kane, we now know that Moff Gideon has something in the works, but he's caught off guard when he's told that the Mandalorians are the ones that took over Navarro. And he's like, well, which ones? And she's like, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. And he's like, that's not possible. Like they're completely different creeds. You know, they would never join together. They're enemies.
He was genuinely surprised by that.
He was. And I thought that was one kind of curious because to me, it kind of answered a few of those, like, whose heart is in the right place here? And the fact that we really saw that, this was kind of a miracle that these two factions came together and that Bo-Katan and Din Djarin were really able together to bring both of these factions. And we do get to see that. I'm glad they handled that in this particular episode. They really showed what that was going to look like with them trying to come together as one clan, one unit, in a way. So as we know, when they end their little phone call, their little rendezvous, Moff Gideon says he'll take care of it. And as he turns around, we see a very Phantom Menace Naboo-like security system with those red lasers, these new stormtroopers that kind of look like First Order troopers, in my opinion. But as he starts to pass, we start to see these cloning tanks. Guys,
real quick for us, thought we were talking about the other spy, since the episode Spies.
Yeah, Spies. Yeah, right. What's up, Esther? It's also good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Let us know in the poll who you guys think is the spy. But right now, I think the majority of us, from like really early on, I think it was either the first or second episode, we were talking about the armorer as being that she was up to something, that she was holding on to a secret and as I put out, my reason behind it is the last time we saw the armorer was on Navarro and she was surrounded. Yes, she was putting up a good fight against all these stormtroopers, but she was being overrun, and by herself, she was not going to win that battle. And it was Moff Gideon's stormtroopers. So what happened? She just says she escaped. Did she really escape, or did Moff Gideon get to her? And that's when they created their pact.
Ooh, nice,
I don't know.
Nice catch.
I try.
Nice catch.
But out of curiosity, guys, when you saw Moff Gideon passing the clone tanks. Do you
Mhm.
think that's Snoke, or do you think it's someone else?
I think that's someone else. Because as we're gonna talk about the project that's gonna eventually lead to, I think they're gonna be working on Snoke. This is just someone. These are just his clones for his army that he's putting together. And who could be the subject? I mean, is really kind of interesting. It could be himself because he is a narcissist. It could be Din Djarin. And that could be a wonderful little twist. Or it could, I mean, it could just be anybody. It could really just be anybody, but he's definitely is a liar because he says he's not really interested in cloning, and they're the vats right there, and those are his. So it's very interesting to me that he has his plan is very specific, and we don't see them later on in the Star Wars universe. So it's very exclusive to him and his brand. So I kind of like that because this particular army that he's thinking of growing is very scary as a concept. So I loved that. Oh, and the Batman Who Laughs says it's failed subjects. That sounds cool too.
Yeah.
Someplace to store the failures so you can learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Orc and Beans, any theories about who's in the tanks, the clones?
I took it differently. I took it as it's him using the tanks to test the waters.
Oh, the living waters.
The living waters, to see if maybe they have healing properties, or if you soak someone in the living waters for a week, what happens to them, and seeing if he could possibly use the living waters as a way to give him an advantage on something, or empower his soldiers, or just testing out different things with the waters to see if they have any certain special properties.
Interesting.
That's a cool idea. I do like that. The living waters, that's an interesting, and it makes sense too, all things considering. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Snoke per se. I was thinking more warrior clones as well. Clearly he's trying to get things going again for the Empire. In the meeting shortly after, we see what he's up to, and it's funny when he said, I don't want to spoil it, but like when he was talking about the Mandalorians, I was like, okay, he must be actually on Mandalore then. So I think he's building up the army again personally, trying to get ready for clearly he has ambitions to be the leader of it all. So he needs to have an army behind him to do that.
I agree. Well, Corey, I feel a disturbance in the Force, as if there's the man himself, Skywalker the Jedi, lurking about. What's up, big fella?
Yo, what's going on, people? Much love to the Delta Squad. Thanks for allowing me to pull up once again. It's always an honor to be over here on the Bat Channel. And Orc and Beans is back, you know what I'm saying?
Right?
So I'm turning away, right? Retro's here. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much.
It's good to see you, brother. General thoughts to leading up to where we are at the scene now. What's your thoughts about Moff Gideon kind of pulling the strings with the pirates, Gideon Shard, and him trying to take over Navarro, and his surprise that the Mandalorians are coming together?
Right. Oh man, I have been listening to you guys. You guys have been killing it, this whole stream. I do disagree about the spy thing, but we'll get into that later, right? But Yes, with this episode kind of focusing in right at the beginning on Moff Gideon and his whereabouts and getting you caught up on what he has been doing. This is much more my speed rather than last week's episode. And it was a great episode all around, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And the opening was definitely a big part of that. It really grabbed me right from the very beginning.
I agree. It was the opening. Just having those Blade Runner influences was a nice sight to see instantly. Guys, let's go ahead and Corey, can you pull up the next slide? Let's go ahead and talk about the Shadow Council scene, because this scene was huge. There was so many Easter eggs that it was almost mind-blowing. One, we had Captain Glad Palion, who, if you guys don't know, is from the Star Wars Legends books of the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn. He also appeared in Rebels for a little bit, and he's kind of Thrawn's protege, I guess you could say. He's really Team Thrawn all the way, and it definitely showed in this particular episode where he was like, "Guys, we gotta keep quiet. We gotta stay under the radar, because if they figure out what we're doing, then that's when the New Republic is going to send people to take us out, and we really just need to wait for Thrawn to show up here." And kind of unite the Empire again. The heir to the Empire, as we heard Ahsoka say in the trailer. I'm sorry, I have my dog coming up to say hello to me. But I also loved that one of the people that's working on this Project Necromancer, which we know was a plan to resurrect Palpatine. I think it was his name was like Commander Hux.
Brendel Hux, yeah.
Brendel Hux, thank you.
Brendel Hux.
Now, if that name sounds familiar, his son is General Hux of the First Order. Yes, we're getting all these connected tissues to the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Which is kind of sad, because Mandalorian was supposed to retcon it.
Well,
we're the chosen one!
That was a lot of hope from people. I don't think that was the purpose of Mandalorian, but if anything, Mandalorian could fix a lot of the issues people had with the sequel trilogy leading up. Now, I don't think it's going to be able to fix all the issues, but they are definitely now starting to really connect the dots here and be like, this is how the First Order comes about.
Trey, ain't no fixing that Luke drinking the milk scene, yo. Ain't no fixing that, big fella. Can't fix that.
Nope. No, we can't. There's some things we can and cannot fix. That is definitely the Luke situation is a situation. No matter how cool they make Luke in the season 2 finale of Mandalorian, even Book of Boba Fett, they're never going to be able to fix what they do to him in The Last Jedi, which is sad. But nonetheless, I'm glad we're getting a little bit. I'm glad we're getting the answers that really ticked us off when we were watching the sequel trilogy a bit. But anyways, I thought it was very interesting to see General Hux's father in this, and we learn about how he was working on Project Necromancer, and how Moff Gideon has really been kind of doing his own thing, and he doesn't like it. Him and Pelion they've been gathering up all the resources, kind of honing them onto themselves, not sharing. And Moff Gideon's like, why are we doing that? Why are you two running these scenes? Why are we waiting for Thrawn? He's like, what if we had a new leader? Me, this guy right here. What if I led? And everyone seems to be all for it except for those two. What's your guys' thoughts about the Shadow Council, the looming secrets of Thrawn returning, and Moff Gideon wanting to be in charge? We'll start with Sky, Retro, Orc and Beans, and Super Bro.
Okay, I'm loving, right, not only from this show, right, but from the Andor show as well. I'm loving all like this backstage like Empire politics and all this stuff. Like, I'm just loving the way that they've been really going about showing you guys that not everybody kind of gets along within the Empire, and there's also factions within factions, right? And so they've been doing a great job of showing that. I felt like this scene really highlighted just how differently some people on the council or the little Shadow Council feel, right? Because I would be mad too if I'm on the ground and I'm putting in all this work, right? And then y'all just keep telling me that this dude is coming back, right? And you ain't got nothing to show for it, and y'all just allocating all these resources and everything, and I'm down here having to hide out on Mandalore, right? While y'all just get to operate with impunity and get all the I just love this whole scene, and it was also cool, yes, seeing General Hux's father and getting that through line as well. So I'm loving how all this stuff has been playing out, and I'm very interested in the season finale next week. I think it's going to be huge.
I agree. Yeah, the next episode is definitely going to be crazy. And as Restore the Sniper's guy said, Thrawn's return will be huge. Yeah, they're definitely setting him up to be the big bad. And as the Butler said, this Avenger level event, which was something that Savage Bat was talking about from a long time. He kept saying he's like, I think they're building up to this film, a film that's going to happen. And Star Wars, Celebration didn't even happen yet. Like that whole announcement of Dave Filoni's film about the Filoni verse that he's doing with Mandalorian, that film wasn't announced yet, but Savage Bat kept saying, I think they're gonna do this. I think they're gonna create like a giant episode maybe on the Ahsoka series, kind of like what they did with the Arrowverse, where you had all the shows kind of connect with the CW. Now they're kind of doing it with Disney here, but instead they're going to do it in this film, and it's probably going to be something of Thrawn's Heir to the Empire books by Timothy Zahn kind of thing going on. Retro Nerd Girl, your thoughts about the Shadow Council and his ambition to kind of take over?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore this scene. Again, I wouldn't mind if it was earlier in the season. But in particular, I definitely love the arrogance and the attitudes of all of the members of this sort of underground empire, former employees. They're just sort of working their way through the galaxy, pretending to be warlords, and pirates, and stealing people's resources and storing them up for, eventually what's going to be shown in the sequels. And even though I'm not that fond of the sequels, I like the fact that there is a reason that kind of ties them into the universe a little stronger. This whole idea with Thrawn, well, we also know that he's not going to be part of the sequels as well. He's not going to make it that far. But there's a lot of story that can be told about this character, what he's able to do in the meantime. So I'm very much looking forward to what's going on with Thrawn. And looking forward, I mean, he may be one of the few male characters that will probably be going forward. They really do seem to be carrying out this the Force is female thing, and it's kind of like, okay, I do like these characters, and I really hope that they don't get rid of all of the male heroes in the story. And it is really good. I think we learn also too that Gideon is lying pretty much through his teeth, that he's not interested in clones at all. I mean, the man we just saw him pass, vats of whatever, and he is definitely definitely doing something sketchy. That's even sketchier than what he's supposed to be doing. So he's got the plan that he's telling everybody else on the Shadow Council, and then he's got his own thing going on. And then he makes his ambitions known, that he wants to be head dog. He wants to take control over the whole shebang. And I just love that, because we're seeing his entire like story kind of play out here. This is his, this is his ambition, his motivation for doing what he's doing, and how long he's been doing it. So he's on Mandalore. How long has he been on Mandalore? How long has he been hatching this plan and working it up into this fruition, as you will. And so I was just super, super happy during this whole thing. I was like, yes, this is great storytelling, and I really wish again that we had like every single episode in the season had this much fire in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Like this episode, just in terms of storytelling and importance, really kind of it lifted this entire season that people have felt is slow, and kind of got back to what made season 1 and 2 so great. It also created that mystery about what's going on with the cloning process and Palpatine and the Empire, how they're still looming out there, and how the New Republic has continuously failed at, taking out the enemy, and just in their ignorance and kind of in a way, their need to prove that they're better than the Empire and not finish the job.
Well,
to not have a brutality with them.
I love what that one guy said. Like, oh yeah, people are already getting tired of the rules and the laws of the new, Republic. So it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, the Empire created strength and through fear, but in the same time, they also allowed they didn't really have those rules. They had structure, but they created freedom through brutality and power, which worked for those in the hierarchy who thrived on that, rather than the people who were punished for not having that. Orkin Beans, your thoughts about the Shadow Council and basically Moff Gideon's ambition?
Well, I thought the scene was cool. I'm with Sky with like, I love looking at this, like the politics side of all of this, and kind of like what they've been doing in the shadows and all the planning and stuff. But this was like the most Empire type thing where there's this super important figure that's looming in the shadows that people believe in, and you're gonna have people that are like, all right, but I know everything about what's going on in the galaxy, and you're the only one talking about this dude. Like, is he really coming back? And so, yeah, of course there's going to be this, like, you know what? I think we should start thinking about some new leadership. And, they're always going to want to rise to more power and stuff like that. So it was just kind of a cool scene to see, and kind of brings you back, and just seeing, like, maybe a little bit of like kind of the cracks that are starting to form in this council.
Yeah.
And to kind of see where that goes with, and I think eventually Gideon's going to be like, you know what, I don't need these guys anymore. I can run this
kind of like
show
a Godfather like situation, huh? Like, you guys are just around getting in my way, and here I am going to take over, and he's going to have them all wiped out, kind of thing.
His whole thing is taking from different, he talks about, he takes from different cultures and stuff. These guys all have their own specialties. Maybe this whole time he's been taking a little bit from this guy, a little bit from this guy. How does this guy do things? And seeing what works for them, so that he can then implement it into his own thing, so that he can become this ultimate ruler.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because he straight up said that. He's like, the Jedi brought something.
Exactly.
The Mandalorian brought something. So I think there's some interesting correlations that you made there.
So he's been just taking bits by bits of, what is this council member really good at? What is this guy good at? What does he do? How does he handle this situation, so that he can just absorb all of this knowledge, so that he can take over and rule. You don't need the entire council if you have the knowledge of the council.
Yeah. But I do have to say this, just to interject really quickly. Hux and Pelion know that he's up to something. They don't trust him. And now with him saying that, he's put basically a target on his back. So that's the only thing that was like, oh boy, you just you let out a little bit too much information there.
But now he's got some new guards to take care of him, and
which were the same guards that Snoke
had.
You know, and he knows that he can't beat Mando in a hand-to-hand combat situation. So now he's got them to take care of Mando, and if the council comes after him, he's got.
Sure, I think I think there's a lot of truth to both sides. I think that there's, how I see it is, he's seeing that there's no leaders right now, and he's going to try to step up and be that leader. Unfortunately for him, and I don't know much about Grand Admiral Thrawn, but somebody's going to have to come in and humble his ass, and that's going to be Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Which is a theory we had last week, wasn't it? I said, like, I think Moff Gideon is going to try to push himself to be the new leader of the Empire, and I don't think it's weird. I think I said something to the effect of, I don't think it's going to be Din Djarin or Bo-Katan that takes out Moff Gideon. I think we're going to find out, or at least Moff is going to find out, that there is a bigger, badder man out there named Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he's going to take him out, and that's going to set up the movie where we all go, that's the enemy, that's the big dog on the hill. You know, so I think they're definitely setting that up, especially the way, like you mentioned, Orc and Retro, like where they were all looking at him, like, you know, especially Palian and Hux, they were like, this guy is not on the same team as us. He has his own plan.
I just had an idea. Oh my god. Okay.
What was it?
I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
What if after the Praetorian Guards, what if after he, you know, exterminates or gets rid of the Mandalorians, their job is to kill him?
Oh, like they're already working for Thrawn.
Yeah. I mean, because they're already getting instructions from a higher source than him.
That would be cool. I dig that. That's a cool idea, Retro. I like that. Hey.
Everybody's double crossing each other.
Right. Moff Gideon definitely needs a reality check pretty soon. This dude is getting out of control. He got stormtroopers with Beskar. This dude running around looking like a Mandalorian himself now with this damn armor, yo. He's getting out of control right now, yo. Like, yo, no. Thrawn gonna come in and be like, nah, man, chill out.
How many of you guys watching? Yeah, man, it will be interesting to see. But one of our theories that was confirmed in this scene was Moff Gideon is on Mandalore. That's why he needs the extra security, why he needs the extra ships, the bombers, the interceptors, the Praetorian Guards. He needs all of these because the Mandalorians are coming back to reclaim Mandalore. Which one? How does he know they're coming back to claim Mandalore? That would suggest that there's a spy amongst the Mandalore that not only told him who were the two factions that got together, and that the plan was to come to Mandalore. Now, one of those people who pushed for, you know, the first person, they just got this nice piece of land on Navarro, and the first person that didn't even give it a minute later of claiming this land was like, we should retake Mandalore.
I didn't understand that at all. I was like, why don't you just chill out here for a couple of years and build yourself up again? Build yourself up,
but not only that, you have a community that welcomes you. It's a good piece of land. They can have resources there. Nonetheless, whether it's poisonous or not, Mandalore is covered in glass from the Night of 1,000 Tears. You know, so there's not much you can do.
Look, I'm telling you, you got something, Retro? Go ahead, because I think that you got a point that you want to interject with.
Well, the last episode, when they went to Plaza 15, they did talk to the royals there and said, you know, we're planning on. They told them flat out what they were going to do, and
True.
So it could be that Commander Bez, whatever, Jack Black's character.
Oh gosh, if that's just the connection there.
He could
Bring
still
back
be
Jack
working.
Black.
Well,
Do I get another Jack Black Lizzo episode?
No.
Oh my God.
No, I mean,
Star
but
Wars.
if they did such a thing, he wouldn't be playing his character. He would be playing his character Sinister. He wouldn't be playing that same kind of character.
I
But
just
it's-
watched
Look,
Jack Black play Bowser really well, so I know he can
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario was actually super dope. I did not
I liked
expect that movie to be that dope. I had a great time with it. But I do want to say this though. I don't think it's the armorer, y'all. Right? And for that same reason, right? Moff Gideon did not know that the clans was coming together. If the armorer would have been the spy, he would have known that. He seemed very taken back by that very notion, right? I think that what made the armorer want to go reclaim Mandalore is when this dude Din Djarin came back with the living waters, saying that it ain't cursed, right? Bo-Katan is talking about a mythosaur. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's probably what made her like, yo, we need to go reclaim our home world. Like, yo, this is cool, but this ain't where we from, right? Mandalore is not cursed. Our home is not cursed. We can go back there and take that. I don't think it's the armorer, y'all. I do not think it's her. I think that the very notion that these clans were coming together scared Moff Gideon. That's why he was like, yo, I need these guards and this backup and all this stuff. It was for that reason. So telling y'all, I don't think it's the armor, yo. I don't think it's her.
I have more reasons why I think it's the armor, but we'll get to that later. But interesting that you did. I agree. I see everyone in the chat saying that you brought up a very good point, and that is true. You did that. That's I didn't think about that, and it does create a bit of an issue in my theory.
And I think that the camera kept focusing on her because I think some of the people they was bringing back might not really been that injured.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they got spies on the ship and she taking them back, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I mean, that's very, yo, you know, I don't know.
She taken back because they're a part of her group, the spies. That because maybe they already knew that Bo-Katan and maybe I know this is kind of skipping ahead, but maybe they knew about Bo-Katan surrendering Mandalore and kind of being the nail in the coffin of its downfall, and they decided to go against her in prayer.
To kind of continuing on with the spy thing, I can see it going both ways, but it is interesting that Moff Gideon has some new Beskar armor, though, right?
That's what I was going to bring up next, but we'll get to there when we get to it.
I think that's too obvious, though, man. Like,
I feel like
the helmet, like that. Yo, that's kind of on the nose.
It is, but I feel like it wasn't on the nose until just now. So, you know, I feel like the last few, you know, I mean, literally episodes 1 through 6, I think people were starting to feel like she had a secret that she wasn't revealing, or she had different motives, but no one knew what it was. And I think this episode just kind of like, now it's like, yep, this is what her motives have been this entire season. But interesting thought indeed. But like I said, theory confirms that Mandalore was the base of Moff Gideon. If you guys recall in episode 2's breakdown video, when we first returned to Mandalore, I was saying that there's something else going on here. You know, the Empire, like whoever's creating this rumor that Mandalore is poisonous and no one dared to go and check it out, it seemed weird that literally Din got there with no resistance. Nothing was basically wrong with the planet. So who was spreading this rumor, this secrecy? Who was creating this idea that the planet was inhabitable? You know, here we are. It was because the Empire wanted people to not go there. You know, they had their base there. So check mark. Thank you very much. But Corey, go ahead and go to the next slide, sir. So we get to Navarro and we see this really cool Imperial light cruiser that we saw before, but now it has a new paint job of the Mythosaur skull. I dug that so freaking much.
Too.
I loved how the moment you see Bo-Katan leave the ship, she has the black saber, on her hip, and you can tell the other Mandalorians are starting to notice. They're like, oh snap, like it's hers now, so she's our rightful ruler. And this whole entire scene was so great because you're seeing that thing that we were kind of waiting for, which was, how are these two factions going to get together? You already start to see Paz Vizsla and Axe Wolves. They're already sizing each other up. They both know, like, you're the big dog on your group, I'm the big dog in my group. Who's better? And I loved those small details. Nothing needed to be said, but you could tell their eye contact. Yeah. They're like, whoa, just like, oh yeah, I like when the fight breaks down, I'm coming for you, big fella. And it was just a wonderful scene all around. But they're gonna have a giant Vista armor. It's like, here we go. We're gonna try to come get together. But of course, you see Grief Karga coming in with some Coruscant scotch, which looks delicious. But he says he has another gift for Din Djarin. He has the IG-11's been repaired, but not in the way that you think. This new IG-12 that can carry Grogu around. I gotta be honest, guys. Corey, can you go ahead and go to the next slide, please? Whoops, sorry, or back. Maybe I didn't put a picture of this one. My bad. I gotta be honest. Grogu in this IG-12 was adorable, but I love the story that they were trying to tell here. Throughout this entire season, we keep hearing Din Djarin referred to as Grogu's father, and it's this whole father-son relationship of how he's trying to teach him the Mandalorian ways and also deal with the fact that for 2 years, Grogu was with Luke Skywalker learning more about the Force and becoming a Jedi. But in this particular season, we start to see the dynamic between them start to change, that Grogu's not helpless anymore. Grogu's not this foundling that can't defend himself. He can do very much, he's powerful enough to be in the fight with Din Djarin, and he's starting to realize that more and more. But we get this kind of this teenager rebellious side of Grogu with IG-12. Yes. My God, that scene where that little dude comes out, she's like, not the baby, no squeezy. What is going on? He's adorable. I still laughed at it, but I really did like the scene because it's also a learning moment for Din Djarin where he's like trying to keep Grogu in control. He's liking this new power that he has where he can kind of go off and do his own thing, and he's having to like kind of reel him back a bit, and he's like, I don't know how this is gonna work, like I don't know how to handle you right now. It's like the teenage years of parenting, I guess. What was your thoughts about all of that with Din Djarin and Grogu, and kind of this moment where he kind of has to realize, I'm gonna have to be okay with like letting you like be able to do your own thing now? Do you think they're setting that up in a way? It was kind of a quick way of showing it, but like maybe they're trying to show us that Din Djarin can let Grogu go a little bit. Sky, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually loved this scene. Him using the yes button like over and over and over again was really funny. That got a good little chuckle out of me. But I think that this scene was definitely put there to show that Grogu is definitely becoming more independent. I know that everybody kind of got stuck with the Baby Yoda thing at first, but Grogu is not a baby. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, and he's in his 60s, right?
yeah, right. And so, with that being said, they literally gave him a vehicle, no pun intended, to be more independent, right? So this is also going to make him more formidable as well, because now he has some more things just outside of his force powers to be able to use, and he can move around faster and everything as well. So I'm loving it. I was kind of wondering because early on in the season, the IG-11 thing kind of came up, and then it was brushed to the side like very quickly, and it was never brought up really again after that. And so now we see where they were going. They were actually giving Grogu a new set of legs, which I think is pretty dope. So
it went in a direction that I didn't think they were going to go with. I always thought it was going to be a bit of a side quest story to repair IG-11, but to kind of make it the legs for Grogu to move around, like it was an interesting way to go about it, and I was okay with it. in the end. While it seems like kind of a thing that we forgot about in the beginning of the season, how it ends up, I was kind of like, that's fine. I can accept that. Retro Nerger, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I was really happy that they did close out that question. That story plot that began in episode 1, and they didn't completely drop it. They were just holding it on the side until they did this. And I wouldn't have actually minded another thing. I would just love for this to have been earlier in the series as well, because I really want to see him grow into this suit a lot more. I love that he is now able to kind of vocalize yes and no. That's the basics. But it also tells me one thing about Grogu is that as much as he understands things, he does, and he has great cognition, he can't actually physically vocalize the words. So it is very important. At some point, we do get to hear him speak and tell his story, because that's going to be powerful. I mean, they're like, I mean, how many questions would you like to ask Grogu, have him answer about his life? And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, this is the tip of the iceberg for this character, and we can see that it is definitely going to make it changes the game for him. Okay, now we can see him with a sword. Now you can see him fighting alongside his dad. We can see him being a physical part of the action in a real visceral way, instead of like just being in a little pram or hiding behind something. I think they have to work out the nuts and bolts of all of that, but it would be really cool to see where they take this. So I guess you can call it like a mech suit, if you will. And IG-11 is fine, but I don't think it's the right body. It still feels like it's too vulnerable. So I would love to see them do even more like mechanized changes.
Maybe give us some Beskar improvements,
yes, exactly.
Which he does have that chest plate still, so he's very well protected. Just the head is still a bit vulnerable in the stomach area.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Oh my God, Super Bro.
Super Bro.
Out of curiosity, what if his first words happen at a very tragic moment? Is dad or some father, something like that?
Well, I mean, that would be awesome to have him vocalize. It would be terrible if they did something to Din's character. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't dream of it. But I want to see him. I want to see him talk.
They love those family struggles in Star Wars, though.
Yeah, but you know what? I just don't. If they did decide to do something fatal with him, would be a huge mistake. They have brought back almost every single character that they've tried to kill off. I mean,
there's no way Mando's not making it to that movie, yo. There's no way.
That's my own thing. I don't think they'll kill off Din Djarin with a movie on the horizon. He's what this character, and this is, I will say this for anyone that's afraid that Din Djarin's going to die, and because of this rumors about Pedro Pascal not being happy about not showing his face anymore, that's the easiest job in the world for him right now. He doesn't ever have to be on set, and he can do voiceover work. It's easy, and he still gets all the credit for it, and a payment check. And then the movie's going to be coming out. Like, he's not passing up this opportunity. I would be shocked if they do kill him off.
Yeah, and it makes no sense to do it. And like I said, he's a well-loved character. And for every single character that they've killed off, they've really had to weave a story in order to make them come back to life. And look at Darth Maul, Palpatine, Boba Fett. These are characters that died in front of our eyes, and yet they were brought back to life. And so I think it would be a huge mistake if they did something like that. But back to the whole thing with Grogu. he is becoming sort of the Kwisatz Haderach of this universe. You know, this myth of a creature. I mean, because he is a Jedi and also a knight. He's also now becoming a Mandalorian, and he's got a body now, so he can get in between skirmishes and separate people. He can use that to assert some of the physical things that he couldn't do before, as well as now still having the Force, still being in tuned with all of that. He's definitely becoming something of a myth. And maybe becoming the Mandalorian. I don't know.
maybe sorry, not Super Bro. Working Beans.
That's what it feels like.
I'm used to him not being here.
Step closer to Grogu getting his Mando suit. Because now Din's like, you know what? He isn't just a baby anymore. He's not Baby Yoda. He's got a personality. He knows what I'm saying. And even with this new body, when the fighting started, Din told him to hide back. He didn't let Grogu go out there and try to fight or anything. He still held him back. And so I think he's going to see the flaws in this new vehicle that he's like, you know what? His head's kind of exposed. I know a way to fix that. His chest is still kind of exposed. His legs are exposed. I know how to fix that. So I still think Grogu is going to get decked out soon.
Oh yeah, I love it.
That's cool. Great. I saw that fan art. It looks dope. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts about Grogu kind of gaining his independence in a way, and how Din Djarin's dealing with that as his adoptive father.
I think he likes it. You know, I think he realizes that Grogu doesn't necessarily need him as much anymore to look after him. You know, he's able to do things on his own, which is going to be the reason why Din Djarin is the spy. Him having the suit, Grogu's able to move off on his own. But what if I said maybe he's a double agent? He's working with Ahsoka to bring out Thrawn.
I mean, that's an interesting theory, but I truly don't think they're gonna even tease the idea that
you watch, bro. You watch.
Corey, if you are right about Din Djarin being the traitor, I will change the Bat channel for a month to Super Bro Corey channel.
It's happening, people. You heard it, and I'm putting in the caveat there. I think it's possible that Din Djarin's a double agent, a double spy. You know, he's trying to draw out Moff Gideon, trying to draw out Thrawn, but he's the only one who's worked with Ahsoka. He's had those conversations with her. It's happening. This is how it all combines, how it all connects, bro.
Corey.
It's going to
lay off that blue milk.
Corey's a
croissant rum.
It's going to break everybody's heart too, and then they're going to realize, oh wait.
Well, it's a possibility. It's a possibility in the fact that maybe Din doesn't know that he's a spy. That there could be some way that they have a tracker on him, or they're able to track him in some way.
If that's what they do,
what if when he got captured?
Him a spy? What's that, Sky?
What if it was when he got captured? What was that in episode? The one where Bo-Katan saved him, and
and
right?
that was on Mandalorian.
Oh, so you're thinking that robot creature works for Gideon?
They did put something in them, right? They were injecting them with stuff.
If that's how they do that, though, Corey, that doesn't make him the traitor spy that you're suggesting.
I think he's a double agent spy. He's working with Ahsoka to pull out Thrawn and get Moff Gideon, because he wants Moff Gideon dead, I think.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting theory for sure. But we get that nice little scene with Grogu and Din Djarin, and they're trying to figure each other out as Grogu gains his independence. But we now get this little camp feast with the different factions of Mandalore, and I love it so much because it's quiet. It's not really a feast. You know, people aren't celebrating. No one's jazzed about really this. I mean, when you think about it, it's probably the most Mandalorians in a small area that they've seen in a very long time, and there's no celebration for it. It's both groups trying to figure each other out, like, and the tension, you can just feel it, and they're just waiting for someone to do something so that they can just break out the fight, because that's what always happens with these groups. And once again, I just love that Paz Vizsla is staring down, Ash. Those two are just waiting for it. They're just like, please do something, egg me on, anything. But we get this moment where Bo-Katan takes this moment to be like, here's the goal. Here's the mission. We're all brought together so that we can retake Mandalore, but we need to make sure it's safe for everyone. She's going about it just like she does with everything she does, right? Very strategically planned, organized, and it's a good plan, to be honest. She asked for volunteers, and of course, as we expect, Din Djarin is going to be the first one to say, yep, I'm coming. Grogu's coming with me.
Yeah.
And then that kind of gives everyone the freedom, or at least the confidence, to stand up and say, yep, I'm with you. I joined this. I will be a part of this mission to scout the surface of Mandalore to make sure we create a safe environment to bring the rest of the fleet down, because we don't know what's all there. Now, the Armorer says she will join. The first time out of all the missions we've been on that she has put people on, this is the time where she says, yep, I'll come with, and Bo-Katan kind of gives an interesting reaction. Like, she's not sure about what her motive is to come with this. Do you think, I know we keep kind of pointing the finger, Sky's still shaking his head. You're still not into it. You're like, no way, they're pointing the finger way too much. This is like Scooby-Doo. It's the person trying to help.
Real quick, shout out to Batdam's thoughts. He's in the Berg right now, the 77. What is up,
Batdan? If you're in St. Petersburg, that's where Super Bro Corey and I are from in Florida.
Go to Ted Peters.
Go to Ted Peters.
Go to the original Hooters.
Yes. The original Hooters is in Clearwater. It's the best chicken wings that you'll find in Florida. But go to if you can't choose both, go to Ted Peters. The best cheeseburgers you will ever have in your entire life.
Potato salad. Do it. I just made your
I really want the
vacation
potato
amazing.
Salad now.
Yeah, see, Orchid knows what we're talking about. Yeah. It's good to see you, Batdan. I hope you're doing well, my man. He says, hashtag Obi-Wan gave up, hashtag I stand with Anakin Skywalker, hashtag the Sith are the good guys. Well, the Acolyte is going to be a great show for you. Integrity, my man, it's good to see you. Hi, chat. Hi, panel. I'm not a Mandalorian guy, so I'm just here to say have a fun stream. This one of the best channels on YouTube. Oh, man. Integrity, you're too kind. Keep up the good work. You all know what is inevitable.
Trent's from the Berg as well, the 727. And he's in Montana now. Whoa,
what?
Bro, that's
Trent?
wild. Because we live in the West now too, big fella.
My man.
Closer
Trent,
than you know.
Is this your first time watching our show? This is like this just popped up of all the St. Petersburg people up in the house. What up, St. Pete? Hey, how about them Rays, man? They they had their first loss last night, but 13 straight opening wins. Come on now.
Now it's about the 307.
Right?
Sorry, 406.
That's awesome. And Trent, welcome, fellow St. Petersburgian. It's good to see you. All right, where were we at? Oh, now I know. Yeah, pretty much first stream. Hey, that's awesome, Trent. Thank you so much for being here, dude.
I think you know what that means.
It's a small world. My guess is
hello there.
Hello there.
Yes, as we like to welcome all of our new people. That's crazy. small world indeed. Well, where were we talking about? The Armorer. Sorry, I get so
the Armorer, yo. It's not it's not the Armorer. They're pointing the finger way too hard, yo. This is way too obvious. And I think that if it would have been the Armorer, right, that Moff Gideon would have known when the spot, like, he wouldn't have been so shocked, like, what? Like, they're coming to come retake Mandalore, like, the clans are working together, like, they hate each other, right? And he's like, that don't even make any sense. right? When the armorer was the one that sent Bo-Katan out. I think that she was reinvigorated to go to Mandalore once he came back with the living waters, and they said all that, right? Because she didn't even think that, you know, he was gonna find redemption, right? So, hey, I'm just telling you, yo, I do not think that it is the armor. I think that they're pointing the finger way too hard.
So then you would agree it's Din Djarin.
No. No. Right? I don't think it's Din. Yo, I don't think, yo, that would be insane if it was Din Djarin.
So who's the other spy, big fella?
I think it's it's old boy Wolves, yo. Like I don't like that guy. Yeah, yo. I think it makes way more sense being him. Right? He didn't really like Bo-Katan anyway. As soon as they bounced, they was off being mercenaries and all that, right? He fought her, right? Like, yo, he would have all the reason in the world to want to come back into power by like working with Moff Gideon. 100%. It makes way more sense them going that route than it being the armorer. Because I think that she got reinvigorated when he came back with those waters and was like, yo, our land is not cursed. Like, we can go there right now.
Yeah, and I see Captain Jack says, people say it's Koska. Yeah, I could see it being her as well, but her reaction to a scene that we're going to talk about told me that maybe it's not. If it's anyone, I think it's Axe Wolves. You know, if it's not the armor, I think it's Axe Wolves.
I can't wait for this to be called the Super Channel for a month.
No, Corey. You would hold me to that deal?
Absolutely.
You would ruin our analytics, because people can't buy them.
Super Channel.
Hey, it's fair. I'll hold myself to it, Corey. I'm a man of my word. But let's see. Who are we at next? Was it Retro next for armor?
What was the question?
Of why do you think she agrees to come along?
Oh, yeah. That is a good question. Why does she, decide she wants to join? But their goal is to find the forge.
Which we'll talk about that, because see that was another issue I had, because the person who would want to see the forge,
and I got over that too, Trey,
chooses the perfect moment to leave.
Trey, but she's also about like the Mandalorian people above all else, right?
People could have done that.
And Wolf took off as soon as they started shooting, dude took off. Right? He's like, oh yeah, I gotta go find help, and flew off and her came back. Yo, man, yo. I don't think, I do not think. Look, she was trying to look after them people. She was like, look, they can't go. I'm gonna take them back to the ship, right? I mean, they ain't knowing that Moff Gideon is down there. Yo, I don't think it's her, y'all. I don't think it's her. 100%.
You know who could have took them back, right? It could have been Grogu. Grogu could have took their ass back.
You know what? I will say S. Warrior brings up a really great point. He says, guys, it's Grief Karga. Think about it. He wanted them to come to his planet and live there, not Mandalore. He betrayed Mando before. That is very, very true. And to have this quick, sudden change in his character to be where he's this really nice guy. Now, that would kill me because he had a great redemption arc. But you have a very good point that, maybe he wanted to keep them away from Mandalore. And got whiskey, scotched all the way from Coruscant, who's the spy out there, and he worked with the Empire to get Grogu at one point. There's a lot of things that say he has ties with even Gordian Shard. It could be him. You are absolutely right.
And here's some more in fumes for that fire. He also, let me just see, seems to be sort of a mirroring of Lando Calrissian and his character a little bit. A lot of us have said that we've picked up his vibes. And so I'm thinking that maybe he struck a deal, because it was very interesting that Navarro was built up so fast since the last season. Suddenly, like it's I guess supposedly 2 years that have passed, and that city was like totally rebuilt. Like you need a lot of manpower, a lot of resources for that. So that makes me a little.
The only thing I have a little bit of an issue that could be Grief Karga is that if the Pirates of Gorian Shard were working with, Moff Gideon to destroy, the High Magistrate's city, and he could have been easily one of the casualties of that,
Maybe that's when he struck the deal after that.
So, and if you look at something as well, bro just put Grogu in a cage. He put Grogu in a cage.
And not only that, in an Imperial droid.
That's what I'm saying. Is that Imperial droid safe? Oh yeah, it's fine. We worked it over. These are the best guys.
It's been reprogrammed, and when they reprogrammed it tried to kill Grogu.
Yeah, and little dude walking off with like stupid.
You guys
baby,
may have
stupid baby.
As Dot Warrior, you may have nailed it, but if you did, we'll call you out on our next channel, on our next channel. Yeah. Our next episode.
We'll name it the S. channel.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that he could be the one, because he was I wouldn't say very, very aggressive, but he was trying to get Mando to settle down on Navarro, very, very, with this very, very tempting deal. And I think he thought, well, if I can get, Mando to stay forever with the entire clan, maybe that would be the way back. And so this could all be very elaborate to keep him from, actually going to Navarro. And I wonder, not to Mandalore, because I think that was the goal. Anybody trying to get to Mandalore, that's a threat, and that's when you go to Moff Gideon and say, "Hey, there's a situation. Look out for it. People are coming to Mandalore." And he didn't get the threat warning the first time that Din showed up. I thought it was very interesting.
It is
that right after their visit, with Bo-Katan going back to her home world.
What up, Necron?
Her ancestral home was bombed. So that maybe there's something there. I think there's something to all of this. I don't think it's just willy-nilly on that. There's something.
That actually is a great point. The more that I'm thinking about it, because I know for sure it's not the armorer, so that's just out of the question, right? But no, I do think that Grief Karga does make a lot more sense now, right? Because he knew when they were leaving the planet, right? And he did try to get them to stay there, right? And really set up shop. And the armorer wanting to leave and say, all right, let's go retake Mandalore, right? That's really what probably prompted him to have to, because he was probably looking at it like, look, I can be a friend to Mando and I can keep him here and it won't be an issue, right? But then if you go, like, I'm going to have to sell you out because I got to protect my planet. We just saw what happened when just one of these pirate ships just showed up. Imagine if it was an Imperial fleet, right? And so, I think that there may be something to that, Grief Karga.
And Captain Jack, you are correct. If I recall, IG-11 isn't an Imperial droid, but I think he was a bounty hunter. Was he working? I feel like he was working for the Imperials at one point, and that's why he tried to kill Grogu.
Oh, yeah, he was a bounty hunter, wasn't he?
He was paid by the Empire. It was something like that. That's more of what I meant, but yes, you are technically right. Wait, the traitor's Kelly Moto. Yeah, see, don't you love this? This is what I dig. Like they have us all paranoid where we're turning on each other.
I'm telling you, it's John, big fellow. Yeah,
we're so fully Orc and Beans. What was your thoughts about the armor choosing to go with them?
I was really surprised because I was like, the Forge. Wouldn't you want to go see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so I was like, cool, all right, she's going there. And then when it was time to like get close to the Forge, she's like, all right, I'm gonna dip. And I was like, all right, now that doesn't make any sense. So that's when I started to get kind of super suspicious of her. But I mean, maybe she just was like, I'll be a good guy and try it. But like literally anybody else could have taken those people. So
I mean, she could have just stayed back with her people on the fleet, just like she normally does. She stays back.
Yeah, you know? I thought for that it was she wants to see it for herself, kind of thing. Like she wanted to see the planet and see what state it was in. Yeah. And that's why she wanted to go. But boy, was she quick to leave.
Right. Yeah. Well. And at a very convenient time.
There were dying people, like, yo, come on, y'all. So there were people that were, right? She said, yo, let's get them some help. Like, they Mandalorians. Are they not?
No one else could have done that job. It's not like they had any other Mandos.
All right. Step back all the time, big fella.
Super Bro, here's my question, right? About the armor joining and tagging along this mission.
Let's Kai finish real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I had a quick question, right? So just run with me for 1 second that it's not her, right? If she would have been thinking that Mandalore was poisoned and all this stuff for her whole life, right? And she gets those living waters, right? Like from the planet, and then who she's known for all this time tells her like, yo, it's not cursed. And then Bo-Katan is like talking about mythosaurs and all this, right? Y'all don't think that would have had like any kind of impact on her? Like, yo, like this could really be real and I gotta go see it. But, you know, her having the Mandalorians in need of care might just, I gotta take them back. That's all I'm saying, guys. I don't know.
Okay. There's that point, and Necron saying, did we forget she killed a bunch of Imperials in the first season? Yeah, no, we didn't forget that. But I would also say, if I'm going against saying the armor is the spy, I would also like to point out that it was interesting that Bo-Katan shared her story about trusting Moff Gideon and made a deal with him. So maybe the armor made a deal as well.
Because she was surrounded, right? She did it for her people. And that's what we had talked about earlier, El Necron. I don't know if you were here for that. Is like, yes, she technically killed Moff Gideon's Imperial troopers. Not that he would care about that, but like, she was surrounded. They implied at the end of that sequence, I think in season 1, that she was surrounded and that while she was putting up a good fight, she was probably gonna die. And then all of a sudden she reappeared in Book of Boba Fett. You know, how did she escape that? Mm-hmm. You know, to me, she was surrounded and there's no way she would have gotten out of that without, you know, that's just my thoughts. But nonetheless, Super, did I ask you what was your thoughts about the armor?
Oh, hey, Leon.
What's up, Leon? What was the question about the armor?
Your thoughts about her tagging along in this mission?
No, I wasn't surprised by it, but because obviously she wants to see that forward, she wants to get her hands on it. But it was really interesting that she pieced out at a specific time too. So, like, that's why I could. The lazy route is they make it the armor is the other spy. The mind-blowing route is making it Din Djarin.
Yeah, well, not just that, but someone who has been to the Great Forge many times, all of a sudden needs a guide, and then decides to bug out when, you know.
Right, that's a good point.
She knew where they were heading. She knew it was there. That's my thoughts. And I have
We need
another
Moff
theory of
down
why why she's a spy, which I think is why most people are connecting the dots. I think simply because of this one detail, that's why they're saying she is. There's other details along with it, in my opinion. But we return to Mandalore, and I really love that they took a moment to get the reaction of the other Mandalorians, where they open up, they're seeing their planet covered in the glass, they're remembering the night of 1,000 tears, and you can see some of the depression that is like overwhelming them with grief. You know, as Paz Vizsla is like, I didn't expect it to look like this, and then someone said, like, I was here when it happened. You know, so they're all it's kind of unifying them together, because this is their home, and the fact that it was destroyed by the Empire is kind of, their grief is becoming what makes them one. And I really loved that they took a moment to show us that reaction. I felt it was very important. But of course, as we get on to Mandalore, you really get the sense that Bo-Katan, she's confident, and she's kind of headstrong again. Like, she's feeling like we're gonna do this. We're gonna nail this. What's that?
She was smiling.
Smiling, right?
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of a reaction from the armor, who's kind of just watching her. And I really get the sense that, once again, and here's where I've said I've always had an issue with Bo-Katan being the main leader of the Mandalorians, is that no matter what she does, it seems like she's cursed in a way, like that she can never win. Because she gets, here she is once again, she has a black saber, she has a fleet at her side, they're coming back to reclaim Mandalore, and something always goes wrong. It seems like she can never keep control long enough. But we do meet some Mandalorian survivors, weird enough, and a lot of people have speculated that maybe some of these guys are spies, which would make sense to me. It does seem weird that these guys would stay after everything was destroyed, but then again, maybe that they felt this was their punishment to be amongst the skulls and bones of their homeworld. Corey, you'll be very excited. This is for you, good sir. Did one of the Mandalorians look familiar to you?
Yeah. Who was he? Where is he from?
Warlock.
Charles Parnell, who played Warlock in a small film. Not many people heard of it, but it's called Top Gun Maverick.
I knew it. I was like, man, what is he from, dude? I was trying to put my finger on it. I was like,
as soon as I saw him, I was just like, Corey's literally going Top Gun.
I was like, man, he sounds familiar. I was like, where is he from?
They're called Orders, Mando.
Yeah, makes my day.
It was great to see him and to see this group of Mandalorians, but we get some insight about what happened on the night of 1,000 tears and the lengths that Bo-Katan went through to protect her people, but more importantly, the answer that we've been waiting for since we saw Moff Gideon with the black saber. He got it from her surrender when the planet was surrounded, the Imperials were taking them out. She had made a deal with them saying, please, like, basically let my people go, let us live this out. And he betrayed. Good God, dog. Sorry, she's like breathing into the mic. He uses that moment to take control over her dark saber and to rule Mandalore and to betray her by basically blowing up the entire planet. And we see a little reaction from one of Bo-Katan's Mandalorians, which I'm spacing her name again now. It's let's see. So I'm going through my list. Koska Reeves. Koska Reeves, who was also played by, is it Sasha Banks? Right? Did I say it? Sasha Banks, the wrestler?
Yeah.
Or I think she goes by Mercedes now.
Mercedes money.
That's right. She kind of gives a reaction like she doesn't want her to tell this story. And I think in a way because she wants her to she doesn't want people to look down upon her, because even though she did something that was very un-Mandalorian, because Mandalorians are very Spartan-like, right? Like they'll fight until they die. And the best way, the greatest honor a Mandalorian can do is die in combat, right? And here, Bo-Katan's kind of basically opening herself to this criticism because she's using it as a way of like, they've always tried to take us down. The Mandalorians, this is why they want to bring us down, because they, we're extremely powerful, but our biggest mistake has been the different factions fighting. So we need to become one. And it was actually a very great, inspiring speech that she gives. And you do see the reaction of those survivors who kind of looked up to Bo-Katan being the head of the Night Owl. And they kind of see, like, you're the one that surrendered? Like, why? You know, and like they kind of look a little bit down on her from that. But it's that moment where she says, basically, like, not again, we're not going to allow this. What was your guys' thoughts about Bo-Katan finally giving us the answers about what happened that night and how Din Djarin became a possession of the black saber? Oh, go ahead, Sky. Yep, yeah. We'll keep it Sky Retro.
All right,
yeah.
Cool. I thought that it was cool, man. I like how they've been building Bo-Katan up before she's gonna unfortunately end up dying in the next episode. No, this scene was dope. I can't make it past this who's a spy conversation, yo, because things just aren't adding up, right? It's like, if these people that they just came in contact with are spies, right? If some of them are spies, then why was like one group that kept going? Why are they in, because it was a lot of them dying in that fight as well with the Vescar troopers, right? And then, what would be her motive for taking the survivors back if she was the spy, if she's the armorer? I don't know. I'm just like really confused right now. But as for Bo-Katan, I'm loving where her character is going, but I do honestly think that they're setting her up to end up dying in this next episode, 100%.
Which was something I thought so too. I thought they were leading her up to be the death rather than Din Djarin in that, because to me it makes no sense to kill Din, because in a way, yes, he is the main character of the show, and I know the producer said that the Mandalorian could be anyone, but nonetheless, he's the one that started the show. I doubt that they're going to be the ones getting rid of him. I think it's one of those things where it's the call to action, right? Like, the hero's journey is someone who doesn't expect to be the hero, but is forced upon this journey to become the hero, to be the one that leads. And in a way, we've seen Din Djarin constantly push away leadership, but we've seen him have moments of leadership. We know he can do it. In a way, I think they're leading up to, like, Bo-Katan, she fails every time at trying to be the leader, even though she seems like she is the rightful ruler. She just seems like she can't come out on top. Maybe this is how Din Djarin decides, he obviously, based off this next scene, he really looks up to Bo-Katan because of that speech, but it could be the thing that tells him, I need to lead. I have to help my people. Did I have Retro? Did you speak yet?
No. But what was the question again? Just refresh me.
Basically Bo-Katan's story about the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Yes, I mean, that brought some closure to questions again. I mean, this was one of those episodes that really packed in a lot of answers. So that was one of the burning questions, was how did that dark saber end up in Moff Gideon's hands? This answered the question, and we get sort of the whole, like, Princess Leia, A New Hope, where she's being asked, tell us where the rebels are, and or we're going to destroy this world, and she's like, okay, I'll give you a name, and they just blow up the planet anyway. This is like a typical, like, thing that the Empire does. They deceive, they lie, they cheat, and so I love that it's consistent. And it's mirror. It's doing some of that mirroring, or poetry, if some people call it. But I love all that. It was great, and we understand where she's coming from. Anybody would make a decision like that. I mean, give me the sword or all your people die. Well, the sword isn't that important, so here, take the sword. But that's a, if she would have done the other thing where, no, you can't have the sword, she would still be in a position of like everyone dying. Wouldn't change anything except for, maybe she might have been able to kill him with that sword. So it is a interesting twist on how we thought Bo-Katan was, and I think this was something that changes Din Djarin's view of her. He sees her now as someone who is a good person trying to do the right thing, and it reminds me of the second episode where was it the second episode or the third, where she tells him the story of her father dying protecting Mandalore, and he goes, "Oh, that is the way," He this is something he admires in people, and so he immediately, you see that he takes upon this thing. He refers to her as Lady Bo-Katan for the first time. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bless you.
Alex is taking over. Thank you, guys. And I think it's really awesome that this has brought upon a change in him, and possibly other people who are now like, oh, that answers that burning question, where her place is, that she's willing to make compassionate decisions on the behalf of people.
Yeah. Gesundheit.
Sorry about that, guys.
Bless you. All good. All good.
I think it did. We were kind of talking about that earlier in the season, where like, her motive, she seems kind of selfish. I had even said it multiple times, like, she pushed it when she was doing that droid chase scene in the last episode, where it's like she didn't even care about this person that she knocked over, and Din Djarin's the one looking back. And so I thought she was kind of selfish in a way. But this episode and that speech kind of told me, like, no, she is willing to do anything for her people, and honestly to kind of dishonor her family to save them. So it is an interesting thought indeed. Pork and Beans, your thoughts about Bo-Katan's Night of a Thousand Tears speech, and what how Moff Gideon got the Blacksaber.
I think you're on mute, bud.
Oh, you're on mute, big fella.
I think it helped her in a sense that she wasn't totally expecting, because of the way that they are, and the best way to go out is through battle and stuff. But she also has to try to protect these people and keep them alive, and sometimes you got to regroup. And that's, I think, what her idea was, is like, we need to regroup as a people and try again, because Din says that at one point, he goes, for thousands of years the Mandalorian have been on the brink of extinction, and for thousands of years we have survived. And she's kept that streak going by doing what she thought was wrong at the time, but in reality she saved her people. And I think it gave these people a newfound respect for her, knowing that she was willing to give up the Darksaber to save their people.
Yeah, absolutely. Super Corey, your thoughts?
It kind of leads me back to what my friend at work said about this time she's doing it right. She's actually leading the right way. It just shows how much she cares about her people, how much she cares about the Mandalorians. Even coming up in a future scene, she didn't want to leave a certain someone behind. So
yeah,
it just shows where her character is at, and who she is as a leader. Which, I think it's time to jump on board the Bo-Katan train.
Well, we do get this nice heartwarming scene between Din and Bo-Katan, where he you could tell his thoughts about her have changed, as Retro Nergro had said. That where he kind of says, like, I used to think you were selfish and that you only cared about yourself, but now that I've learned, the truth is just like I was wrong, and I will follow you to the end. And that, I feel like that was a wonderful scene, definitely setting up something emotional going on between them, whether that's a relationship or something tragic that's about to happen. But it was definitely a sweet moment that I really, really liked that they took the time to do. But this is where, obviously, the next scene tells us that the armorer is going to take the injured Mandalorians back conveniently to the fleet. And we do get it was very interesting the way they did shoot that. I think Orc, you brought it up of how they kept looking back at her. And one thing that I thought was kind of interesting too is like every time they were going through the clouds, I kept like waiting for them to like show the shadow of something, the shadow of an Imperial fleet coming to get them or something like that. Something that was going to be like, oh shit, here we go. But they never did. And I thought that was interesting. It makes me wonder if they're kind of, they want us like tense like that, like something's coming and we don't know. What's up, South Cali guy? It's good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well, my man. But obviously she goes back to the fleet. And now we have our small group that's heading still to the forge. We get appearance of a giant kaiju theme. We all were hoping it was going to be the Mythosaur, and so was Bo-Katan, but it was this other Ankylosaurus looking thing. But it was still dope. Me and my kaijus, I love them. But they have to abandon ship, as it were. And luckily for them, conveniently, I guess you could say, they escape at the same place that they were supposed to get off the ship anyways to get to the Great Forge. Convenient. A little bit. But this scene, I gotta be honest, this scene kind of gave me some Lord of the Rings vibes. I thought we were like walking through the mines of Moria, or like going back to the Lonely Mountain, and seeing the old ruins of what was once this great city. And these Mandalorians were, like the mining, the Great Forge, right? It just felt like the dwarves and stuff like that. And we're on this epic adventure through the land of Mandalore. Here is where they get ambushed by a bunch of stormtroopers that are covered in Beskar armor. And this is where things get intense. It's getting action crazy. And the one thing I loved is the small details about the fighting skills between these stormtroopers, who actually had some good aim this round, but it didn't matter with all the Beskar armor. But the fact that the Mandalorians, because they realized they were wearing Beskar armor, they knew how to shoot these guys and how to take them out. As we saw Bo-Katan, she was kind of getting under their armor plates, shooting them that way. It was just the wonderful details that clearly this group is way more experienced, and obviously we know stormtroopers are pretty much useless in most cases. But we start to see they're starting to retreat, these stormtroopers, which almost seems part of the plan, which leads them down this hallway. And sure enough, they're closed in, they're locked in, they're being put in place, and here's where the ambush is coming into a full effect. Din Djarin is on his own with a couple of Mandalorians, and they're getting taken out left and right until it's just Mando by himself. And sure enough, he gets captured, and here comes Moff Gideon coming down with some interesting armor. Corey, can you go to the next slide? Now, here's why I partly think my next theory about the armor is that Moff Gideon's armor is very much like Death Watch's armor when they were under Darth Maul. As we see, the armor has spikes on her helmet, and so does Moff Gideon have spikes on his helmet, which tells me they're pulling from a same clan. And Death Watch was actually mentioned in this episode, where the armorer said they're extinct, they don't exist anymore, they're not a part of us. But yet the children of the Watch are kind of an inkling of them, I guess you could say resemblance to him in some aspect, especially with her armor. And people have often wondered if the spikes on the armorer's helmet tell us that she was once part of Death Watch. What's your guys' thoughts about Moff Gideon's armor, the spikes on it? He's wearing the armor of a Mandalorian, but he's not a Mandalorian. Skywalker. Oh, you're on mute, buddy. Yep.
Look, I'm about to say this, and then I got to dip. Look, Moff Gideon looks super dope in that armor. That just looks incredible, right? It looks incredible. And I saw you guys. You're doing a watch party for the season finale, right?
Yes.
We are, yep. And I apologize, guys. I haven't told anyone about the time that we're doing it at, because the only time I can do it is literally at midnight on Tuesday, like Tuesday going into Wednesday midnight. So
hey, look,
hope you can join
I'll
me.
pull up for that. I'm so sure that the armor is not this bio. I'm so sure that look, I'll pull up, and I'll be there, be it in the chat or whatever, and y'all gonna get my reaction somehow. But I'm so positive, and look, if it is, then I'll eat crow. But I just do not think that it's the armor, right? But seeing him in that Veskar armor was super dope. I really got a kick out of it. Just watching him fly around. Moff Gideon definitely got an upgrade because when he went hand to hand with Mando, he was clearly no match for him, and so he had to find some way to kind of fortify himself, right? So it was super dope. I loved this episode. It was definitely a big step up from last week's. That does not take away from how I felt about last week's, right? But this was definitely a great rebound, and I'm hyped for the finale for sure.
Nice. Yeah, dude, Skywalker, it's always a pleasure, my man. Guys, please subscribe to Skywalker the Jedi. We'll find out if he's right or wrong about the armor. I don't know. He could be right. He brought up some very good points, and that's what he does on his YouTube channel, guys. He's always bringing up some damn good points. So please subscribe to Skywalker the Jedi. Check out his channel. He's doing some fire shows over there. And make sure later on you check out his Twitter space later today.
Yeah, I got a Twitter space coming up in about 45 minutes or so. And I also have a stream tonight to be a very fire panel. I'm super excited about who I have coming through and who hopefully can come through. It should be a whole lot of fun. So there will be an announcement tweet about that going out later today as well. So hopefully y'all show up, and because I think it's going to be a super dope show, and I can't wait to let you guys know.
Awesome.
Can't wait for it, dude. That's going to be exciting. I know Noel's been creating some great artwork for you, and I can't wait to see the final design, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is coming at a later date. Just be patient with us, right? Us over at the Cell Movement, we got a lot of stuff going on, but we're just now letting you guys in on some of it, right? With some tweets that went out last night and today. I don't know if you guys saw, but we got some stuff coming up that we're super excited for sure.
Woo, woo, my man. I'm looking forward to it, guys. You know what to do. Smash that like, subscribe to Skywalker the Jedi. Just do it. The man's amazing. Sky, always a pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace,
yeah. Retro, what's your thoughts about the armor of Moff Gideon?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely upgraded, as Skywalker said, and he's implementing his final creation. It's very Darth Vader inspired. He's pulling from every corner of the universe to build up this eventual takeover. That's his plan, and so he's starting with himself, giving himself a Mandalorian makeover, if you will. And so it's very impressive to see that. He mentioned that they're using a Beskar alloy, not just Beskar, but a Beskar alloy. So that was quite interesting. Little detail that he was saying, and is using the Jedi influences. I think he's very much fascinated by the Jedi and what they're capable of doing, and is trying to figure out how he can harness that power, and also the tools of the Jedi. That's why he wants that black dark saber. And he's also fascinated by the cloning, and so all these things, he's kind of remodeling himself and his army to become a force in the galaxy. I love that whole thing. The motivation is there. He's ambitious. It just is kind of cool to see that he had been working on this thing for years and years and years. He's been influenced, and I wonder if he was influenced at all by Darth Maul. I mentioned the Death Watch, and a lot of the faction of Mandalorians who followed Maul had horns, and so that would be the connection there. But it's still, we're still uncovering more of the secrets of this show. I love it. This is the direction I was hoping the entire season was going to go, but I'm fine with this particular episode being as amazing as it is.
Great. Yeah, it's definitely interesting with the Death Watch influences, and I see Bafanac says, is Maul still alive? I don't believe so. I know there's rumors going around that he's in the Ahsoka show.
He shouldn't be alive because I believe Obi-Wan has already killed him in the desert.
Yeah, in Star Wars Rebels, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul had another matchup. Obi-Wan came out on top, obviously, and it appeared that Darth Maul definitely died this round. If he somehow came back, honestly, I would probably scratch my head and go, Dave Filoni, it's time to end that character. you know.
Yeah.
No, I've heard that with the Ahsoka one, it could be either flashbacks or supposedly Ahsoka has some time traveling capabilities.
Maybe, possibly.
I need to watch more.
They can travel. They can travel through different parts of time, and
in the world between worlds. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
yep, it could be a thing, Corey. Maybe if you watched Star Wars Rebels, you would know.
You're like, what?
Right. Orc and Beans, your thoughts about Moff Gideon's armor and being ambushed?
I want it. I want the armor. Give it to me. It was sick. I thought it was incredibly cool. The ambush itself I thought was interesting, and it was cool how they did it, because they start to run away and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, don't chase them, what are you doing? And then it slowly starts to transform into a base, and I thought to myself, I was like, what is going on? Like, and no one's worried about the fact that they're now running on, stone, and there's lights and stuff. But I guess they were just so focused on chasing these guys down. And then just to realize that, like, oh shit, we're in a trap now.
It's a trap.
Was just awesome. I just thought the biggest thing was just that armor was just so cool. And it seemed like it was put together a little more than the others, because, you see when they're first getting attacked, Din stops kind of shooting the armor and is going for like the weak points. And I felt like Moth's weak points weren't as open or as wide or as visible. So I wonder if he's got kind of a better version of the armor that he made for his own people.
Yeah, it's he certainly took more care with his, right? Like, his looks like it was even designed a little better, like you said. And I mean, he was kind of given that speech, right? He's just like, I will be the perfect, image of a Mandalorian, like, they will live on through me. And like, how great is that? Because it's me. And it's like, you're selfish.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair point, Moff. It's a dope ass armor.
That's why I wouldn't put it past him to actually like clone himself.
Yeah, that could be, him cloning himself to create the perfect being, in a way, something that's force sensitive. And that's an interesting thought, it's kind of cool too. And maybe that's like he just never dies. It's because he just has clones keep coming up. That could be kind of crazy.
Oh, interesting.
Super
Well,
real, Corey, your thoughts
Isn't
on that?
Palpatine technically a clone in the last?
In the sequel trilogy, yeah, he's technically a clone.
So it's interesting that this man's just cloning up again as well, right? Maybe he has something there as well. No, my thoughts on the suit were it looked super awesome. It has the Vader / like Ninth Sisters type look, and then you got the Mandalorian helmet that resembles the armor's helmet in some ways, with the spikes on the top. I liked it, man. I'm super curious that Din Djarin was the only one that got separated from everybody.
You are so full of it, Corey. But yes, Din Djarin captured. And we were talking about earlier Grogu's reaction. Orkin Beans was kind of troubled that we didn't really get an angry Grogu trying to get his dad. My thoughts on that personally was I think Grogu, while clearly he was sad, it could have been a couple of things. It could have been PTSD. That once again, seeing someone he cares about being taken away from him by people who look like clones. I think that could have, kind of stopped him in his tracks. Trauma. Which is why I say I think this show sometimes would benefit from mini flashbacks, like when Bo-Katan, her PTSD, where once again, Moff Gideon is getting the best of her, and he's like, "Give me your Darksaber again." We gotta stop meeting each other these ways. Give me what I want. I think something. It was a great redemption arc, but I think that quick little reminder would be like, here she was put in this place, but the difference is now she's not going to surrender. Now she's going to take. She's like, "I'm coming for you." Maybe I won't get you today, but I'll get you tomorrow, kind of thing. And we also kind of I get the feeling that was kind of the same thing with Grogu. And also, I think, just as we kind of learned earlier with Grogu, when Paz Vizsla and Axe Wolves were fighting, and Grogu's the one to stop him, he kind of gets it was amazing that the Mandalorians were willing to listen to Grogu and have that respect for him. But I think when Bo-Katan says, did he get that from you? And Din Djarin says, no, he didn't get that from me. I think it just shows that Luke has taught Grogu in a way to be patient and to be collected in these times of stress.
Or does Grogu know the ultimate plan?
You think Grogu's the traitor?
No. I think that Din Djarin may be trying to push to get working with Ahsoka, just like Grogu would be, to get.
You think that they're in cahoots together? So Grogu already knows the plan. It's like, don't worry, my dad's got this under control.
Yeah. So he's fake spying it right now. So he draws out the one bad guy that's coming in the Ahsoka series. I think he may make an appearance next
I
week.
think we might still get a cameo for Thrawn final episode. Yeah. I think it'll be once everything's ended. I don't think he'll be showing up at the end, but I wouldn't be. I don't honestly think Moff Gideon won't die in the last episode either. I think he's going to continue on. Orkin Beans, I think was it you that's next?
No, you were talking to me. I think we may have got our death scene for the Mandalorian series.
I think so. Which so they take Din Djarin away. Corey goes to the next slide. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was a bit of a mess. Even Sarah looked at me kind of like, really? And I was just like, his sacrifice is so beautiful. Obviously get that whole thing with Moff Gideon saying, I'm going to give me your Darksaber. We keep meeting each other these ways. And Bo-Katan tries to create an escape route for everyone with her Darksaber, helping her people out. But of course, they're surrounded. I mean, they're overrun. And someone is going to have to stay behind. And of course, that man who chooses to stay behind is Paz Vizsla, who says in a very Mandalorian way, "This is the way." And man, Corey, go to the next slide. He's fighting. he's making his gun overheat to where now he's just left with a knife, and of course
it's about time, dude. About time we see a gun overheat, and I'm pissed off.
I know it happens to us in Battlefront 2 all the time, right? For the amount of times it happens, these people should not be able to shoot as long as they do. But obviously, Paz Vizsla, man, he puts up a great fight. He really does. He's taking everyone out, but his doom comes with Praetorian guards that Moff Gideon asked for earlier. And these guys are no joke, and and he's out of ammo, man. He's on his last fight, last stand, and I gotta say, one of the coolest things was when he gets stabbed and he does that very Spartan thing that we saw in 300, where he's like brings it into him so he can whoop that dude up. And I was like, that's what was making me choke up. I was like, Paz, you're so cool. He's such a badass. Yep. Guys, what was your thoughts about Paz's last stand and his sacrifice for his group?
I thought that it was not necessary for Paz to die, but I think that he did go out in a very heroic way, and it was a very highly emotional moment. I don't think anybody wanted to see Paz go. I mean, he's got a son, and he's been upstanding this whole time. We were always wanting to see him, kick some butt. He finally got to do some of that. He's been slowly getting his moments here and there during the season. So it was nice to see him really let loose, if you will. Because I was like, yes, he did it. He got rid of all of the troopers, and here comes the Praetorian guards, and he was absolutely slaughtered in a very brutal way. I was like, please just use your jetpack and get out of there.
Right? Yeah.
Get out of there. And he, I guess he didn't do it, or maybe something was wrong with the jetpack, but it was a very emotional moment, and it was very appropriate to end the story just there, and not like go to something funny or go to something else. This is the moment where you're left at the edge of your seat, and I think this episode in its to end in this way was just perfect in that regard, as far as storytelling and really getting you, like, you have all of these questions, but no longer are they questions that are fundamental to the story. These are questions you love to ask yourself, like, who's the spy and what's going to happen next, and all those like really juicy questions that you have when you've just seen something amazing.
It was heartbreaking to see, and you kind of were hoping he would pull out and escape somehow, but as I love what Red Hooded Outlaw said here, a good death is its own reward, which that's very much the Mandalorian culture, right? Like that's how he would go about it. To him, it probably was as we even learned from the armor, the greatest thing you could do is to save your people. That's the greatest honor for a Mandalorian. And in a way, he saved his whole team and went down in the blaze of glory, Orc and Beans, your thoughts about Paz Vizsla's last stand?
I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it. I feel bad for whoever has to be the one that tells his kid that he's dead. But like what you just said, like, it's the most honorable way for him to go, and he's always been that kind of person to want to go down kind of that way. He's always been very honorable. So it was very fitting. It sucks to see him go.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. If there's one Mandalorian who really took his creed to heart, it was Paz. Like, that man lived that, that whole idea of honor, and which is why he kind of looked down upon some of the other Mandalorians that he knew didn't hold it to their core, and he did go down the way he wanted. Super Bro Corey, your thoughts about Paz Vizsla's last stand?
Yeah, I think we knew it was going to happen. Kind of think about like where his mindset was. He's, a fighter. He just saw Din Djarin get captured. He sees his guys are trying to escape and fall back, and he's a retreat hell kind of guy. He's not going to retreat. He's going to continue to push forward. I think that there was no way he was going to leave that spot. I think he would have continued to push through as far as he possibly could. Unfortunately, that he ran out of ammo. Would have kind of liked to see him take down one of those guards as well.
Oh,
get one.
at least one, right?
Yeah, at least one. But it absolutely beautiful way it went out, kind of like the last stand. So
yeah,
it was it was a good scene. And now I think it gives the Mandalorian the death that everybody said there was going to be a death, and I think Paz Vizsla is the death. I don't think anybody's going to die next episode.
Well, we'll definitely theorize about our next episode. While we're waiting, though, guys, go ahead and put down your score for this episode 7, chapter 23, The Spies of the Mandalorian. We'll go ahead and do, because Paz Vizsla went down in a blaze of glory, and it was a heartbreaking death. We'll send a big salute to you, Paz Vizsla. Rest in peace, good sir. You fought with the way and ended with the way. This one is for you, good sir.
The question we should be asking ourselves is why? Why should we lay our lives down yet again? Because we are Mandalorians.
I love that.
Because we are Mandalorians.
Because we are Mandalorians.
Because we are Mandalorians.
Such a great scene. This is the way. Man, well, that one, it
hurts a little.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It was a great episode, though, and I feel like it was a good death. It's one that they, I think over time a lot of people probably wouldn't have said Paz Vizsla's death would have hurt, but because they showed his arc with becoming really a team player with
Mando,
Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, that people really started to dig his character. As he was the muscle, right? He was the muscle, and he was the kind of the hype person in the Mandalorian group. And now here he is, went down the way he did, and it was a good way. Yeah,
but to kind of add on to how important Paz Vizsla's death was, he laid down his life for not just the Mandalorians, but both sides of the Mandalorian. So he saved Bo-Katan as well, as well. So his death saved the both sides, and once again kind of unites Bo-Katan as being the leader of the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Wow. Nicely said.
Nailed it, Super Bro. I love it.
Yeah.
Retro Nerd Girl, what would you score this last episode?
I really give it a 10. It gave me everything I wanted, but I do have some critiques, but it also gave me some extra, and so I reward it for giving me a little bit more than what I even imagined I was gonna get. So I give it a 10.
Nice.
I dig it. Orkin Beans.
You're muted, buddy.
We give it a 9.2.
All that beautiful things you said you're not going to say anymore?
No, it's mostly just saying damn it because I was muted. No. No, I give it a 9.2. I felt like it answered a lot of questions that we had. And now we really have like our big threat that we have been waiting for. And it's finally here, so I'm excited to see the final episode.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna let you go next, Trey.
it was a wonderful episode. I think there was a few issues I had with it, but overall, like it was incredible. And I think it felt more incredible because I didn't like the last episode so much. And like I said, that could have been the reason, is that they gave us this lighthearted, very fun kind of episode to make us feel good, and then to have an episode like this that would crush us a little bit. It was the setup just to bring us down, and which just means next episode is going to be insane. They're going to be pulling out the big guns. So I think I'm going to give it a 9. It's definitely the best episode of the season. And I think the highest score I've given so far was either a 9.2 or a 9.3. So I'm going to give it a 9.4. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a masterpiece for sure. I agree. Best episode of the series so far. This was what, the 7th episode?
Seventh episode. Yep.
So I'm giving it a 9.7 for that.
9.7?
Yeah.
Damn. Is it because the Top Gun guy was in it?
Well, there was that. But man, Paz Vizsla's death scene, his last fight out was worthy of it being a masterpiece of an episode. It has us completely thrown around with who is the guy. There's just so many interesting things that we were able to talk and share this go around. We saw the evolution of, like, finally Grogu's character was somewhat cool to me, with him getting his own little suit thing, because I was starting to get tired of Grogu for
I think a lot of people are, which is interesting, right? Have you seen social media? They're really like, the last episode, they really went after Grogu, saying he's the reason why the show sucks this season. And I never thought I would hear people say that about Grogu.
I've been saying it the entire season, bro. Grogu,
I know you have, but you make sense to me. But like the fact that like the general audience was like turning on Grogu.
It's just that you can't be this little baby thing in the Mandalorian way forever. And his childish things was getting frustrating, especially after he just had 2 years of training with Luke Skywalker. He was taking Din Djarin's attention away from what the main mission is, and maybe not. Maybe Din Djarin is the other spy with Grogu playing a double spy type theme. But no, it was just getting tiring. So to see him be able to be a little self-sufficient now and contribute a little bit more was nice to see.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, to me, it's just a very nice progression. I think the only reason why I didn't give it a masterpiece score of like a 9.5 and up was simply, I think if those little tweaks, if they would have added a few flashbacks to like kind of show us some of the what is going through some people's minds, rather than having to interpret what we think is going on, I think would have helped. Like seeing, why did Grogu not react a certain way? Why did Bo-Katan not have a certain reaction? You're
gonna see Grogu's reaction in the next one.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Well, this next one is only going to be 38 minutes. Really
only 38?
Oh
yeah, I mean, it should be at like 2 hours. I mean, I really need a good
We're
story.
getting a cliffhanger that's leading to Ahsoka, baby. That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Damn it! Oh, that's a mistake.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way.
It almost seemed like this entire season they didn't have enough story to tell a full series,
which is a surprise to me because it's been literally 2 years since season 2. We've had plenty of time to write, and that's a little disappointing. I'm a little worried now. This season, and I've honestly kind of thought that about season 3, where season 3 kind of felt like that. The sequel film, like where there's going to be a third movie, but this is movie number 2, where really its purpose is to kind of leave you, left hanging to want to go back to see the third one. Yeah. This is what that one feels like. It feels like the sequel leading to something bigger, and it could be Ahsoka, which is disappointing to treat the Mandalorian like that. If that is the case,
we'll see. No, it doesn't matter anymore, because the ultimate goal is to make a movie that they have to have it all be combined within each other.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But Corey, what's the majority of everyone's score out of curiosity?
So Taladia Plays says he's given it 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Neo
That's a good
Sevens
score.
gave it an 8.
An 8.
9.3 from Joker's Wild.
Okay.
A 9.6 from Oracle's Clock Tower.
Nice.
A 9.3 from Red Hooded Outlaw.
Okay.
A 9.5 from Beyond the Night. A 9.3 from The Butler. A 9.6 from The Batman Who Laughs. Domain Stokely with a 9 out of 10. Trevor H, this was the episode we needed, a 9.7 from Trevor H.
Wow.
Bat Fanatic, a 9.6. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy says 9.3. And Bat Fanatic with a 9.4.
Nice. Okay.
So
Wait.
a lot of over 9s. I think we only had 1 8.
Did Bat Fanatic change his score twice? Okay, so you went up, right? Or you went down? I don't know.
I don't think Bat Fanatic changed his score, did he?
Oh, did he? I don't know.
I did.
Yeah, because there's one that says 9.6 and one that says 9.4.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder where he went down. Hey, great episode indeed. Definitely the highlight of this season so far. We'll see how the finale is handled. Do they have a title for the finale yet? Retro?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I'm guessing the ending, the title will probably give something away. But does anyone, before we do our final call outs and little promotion, does anyone have any theories about what they think is going to happen in the season finale? Retro.
Season finale. Hopefully, we find out who the spy is. The extra spies or whoever they are. I am hoping it isn't Din. I'm hoping it's not the armor. It may be both. It may be Axe Wolves. It could be anybody at this point. It really is something that once it's revealed, it'll be like, okay, now we know. But if it is the armorer, which would be the biggest betrayal of all, we've got to go all the way back to the first season and really trace back everything that she said and done, and know that is a complete and total. She's been working this whole time behind the scenes, so that would really reshape our outlook on this, and the entire lore that's been in the Mandalorian. Everybody else, you'd probably not. It's not going to be as intense, if you will. But the other thing is to find out how this is resolved. Are they going to leave it at a cliffhanger like the end of Empire Strikes Back, where they're now putting together a team to go rescue, to go rescue Din Djarin? Are they going to take Din Djarin away somewhere, or is Din Djarin, in danger of losing his life? A lot of people are speculating that. So it is going to be riveting, the most riveting 38 minutes that we're going to experience, and I am here for it. I'm so glad we finally have tension. We finally have a bad guy. We finally have a lot of the things I felt were missing throughout the entire season. So I'm actually really, really happy so far, and whatever happens in the finale, I will. I'll be okay with it. I think I've seen all the scenarios, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready to find out finally. That's where I'm at. I'm ready to find out for us to close the chapter on this. Yeah.
And all to lead us up into Ahsoka in August. Orchid Beans, your thoughts, theories about the finale. What are you expecting with the 38 minutes?
I think Grogu is going to deal the final blow to whoever the big death is. It's going to be cool. Through Grogu. If it's Gideon, I think Grogu does it. I'm waiting for that little tiny hand to stick out and just snap someone's neck. That's what I'm waiting for.
I was scared he was gonna do it. When he was behind the glass, I was like, oh my god, is Grogu gonna snap? Force choke Gideon right there, and he didn't do anything. I was
Why
really,
didn't he?
Yeah.
He had the force. He could have force opened that thing. He could have pushed them all back. He could have done a lot of force stuff, and all of a sudden he doesn't have to do anything, and we don't see what his reaction is.
Well, while he is strong with the force, I mean, he is no Luke Skywalker yet at this point, I mean, but that's also a power that comes from rage, like if you want him to kind of go nuts like that, Corey.
Yeah. Clearly he chose the side of emotions. We should be starting to see some of these, questionable, like, oh, whoa, that wasn't quite right, Grogu. You just, force choked some dude, So clearly there's something not right there. Personally, I think next episode's going to be fire. The normal route that I see it going, I see most people not thinking it's going to be still would think the armor would be a surprise, even though I think the general audience would find the armor as the surprise still when it comes to a spy and the betrayal versus all of us. I think that's probably the route that's going to go. And they're going to have to fall back to rescue Din Djarin, and the only way they do so and break through things is by riding a certain mythosaur. I see that probably being the route that they go. It's a mythosaur action. And I think most likely Homie Moff Gideon escapes. If we go my other route, Din Djarin goes into the debriefing room. They talk about stuff. They realize that Bo-Katan breaks through with the mythosaur. They escape, and they realize that oh crap, they betrayed us, and Grogu is going to go with as well. So, but again, it's that secondary spy side of things, because they're going to bring out a certain somebody from the Outer Rim, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I honestly, I kind of hope they don't
Report
bring out
back
the
to us,
mythosaur yet.
Don't think so?
No, it would be cool. It's giving me a great scene nonetheless. I just don't want them to use it lightly. I think the mythosaur should be something that is used to kind of bring the Mandalorians together, and I feel like at this point they are kind of together. So maybe if they have a loss in this, like maybe they'll be broken again. Especially if there's a betrayal in their group, to where having something like the mythosaur to really unite them to take out Moff Gideon and the heir to the Empire with Thrawn. Who knows? Captain Rags, my man. Hey, buddy. I know it was your birthday recently, and I feel so damn bad. I didn't wish you happy birthday. So.
Happy belated birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, brother.
Birthday.
Hope you're good, man. And can't wait to see you this next week, man. To talk some Mandalorian. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, bro. But good to see you as always, Captain Rex. But yeah, man, for my theories, I do think it is the armor. I know Captain Rex says it's too obvious. For me, it's only obvious now to people, but I feel like when I said it in episode 1's breakdown, where I was like, she's up to something. She's doing something. I think now it is obvious, but like I've thought for a while that something wasn't right. I mean, the first time we saw her back and she didn't quite give an explanation of how she escaped the Imperial forces, that Moff Gideon. I doubt that she was able to take them all out, because she was more than surrounded. I mean, yeah, she was putting up a good fight, but I think something else is going on there. But nonetheless, whatever it is, I think we're going to be left on a cliffhanger. I think it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be stressful. I think they're going to tease that Din Djarin's going to die just to screw with people, because they know. I mean, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau know everyone's worried right now. Everyone's wondering what's going to happen to Din. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't believe in the rumors that Pedro's not happy or something like that. He's, especially with a movie on the horizon, Pedro's down for it.
That's why he's going to be a spy.
Corey's on the spy train, but nonetheless, I'm excited. We do have our season 3 finale watch party. You guys are all welcome to join me if you can make it. I know the only reason why I can't do it Wednesday night is because Sarah and I, it's our dating anniversary it's our dating anniversary.
Dating
We're gonna go
anniversary?
Well, where I asked her to be my girlfriend,
Aww.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, you will understand,
I was like,
when you're married, these dates
you guys
are
didn't
important.
get married into like August, September.
Well, yeah, we got married in September, but you still have the day we are official,
Okay.
celebration, So they're actually doing the Lord of the Rings Return of the King 20th anniversary film release, the extended edition. And Sarah and I, obviously being huge Lord of the Rings fans, we're like, we have to go see that. So that's why I can't do like a Wednesday night stream. So as soon as the episode gets released, we are watching The Mandalorian with you guys. So
did you see that there's a way on Disney to do like a watch party through that where you're all keyed in on the same timeline and everything like that?
Let's figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do something.
Okay.
But nonetheless, guys, make sure I've set up the stream. You can hit that notification bell on it now, so that way you don't miss it. I know it's gonna be late, but hey, it's The Mandalorian. Catch it first so that you don't get spoiled on Twitter about all the things going on, because there will be spoilers, guys. People were spoiling this episode. Avoid it. Join us midnight. We're going to check out the final episode of Mandalorian. And then Saturday, as always, we'll be doing our breakdown stream. But Orkin Beans, did you want to talk about... I'll let you do that when we start promoting what we got going on our channels. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who came out to our channel today. Of course, the panel is always fire with Skywalker, the Jedi, who was with us earlier. Retro Nerd Girl, tell us what you got going on your YouTube channel.
Well, you can subscribe to my channel. It is on YouTube, Retro Nerd Girl, where I do a lot of retro movie reviews. I have one that is actually being released tomorrow. So that's exciting. I have been doing live streams on Wednesday mornings, Fridays on the afternoons, and I have one as well on Saturdays, which is typically a watch party of some retro movie. Today will be Flash Gordon, 1980.
Straight to the universe.
Yes. And you can also catch me on Twitter from time to time.
It's fantastic. Man, Retro, you've been killing it. The Wednesday streams have been they've been helping me get through work, because work is always crazy on Wednesday. So
cool.
I like watching it for when I can, because I know you do some Mandalorian reviews on that as well. So guys, make sure you guys check out Retro, because Retro really goes into it. I always check it on the replay crew, because generally I haven't seen it when she does. But yes, check out Retro Nerd Girl. Help her get to we're getting to almost at 6,500, aren't you?
No. I'm at 6,100.
6,100, still great. That's awesome. Well, guys, help her get to 10K. Let's just do it. Just subscribe to the Retro Nerd Girl. You already know. Just do it.
Thank you so much,
my man. Orc and Beans.
Yes, I'm over here on Twitch trying to kill it over there. Have been killing it over there. And the thing that Trey was kind of talking a little bit about is hopefully soon we will have a special announcement to make. All I will say is keep September the 29th open. It's going to be a pretty big day for Delta Squad.
Wasn't it the 22nd?
No, we're going to do the 29th.
Of September?
Of this month.
Right, where did you get September, Corey?
I thought I said September.
What?
Did we say 22nd or 29th?
I thought we said 22nd.
We were gonna do the Delta Squad stream on the 22nd, and then the 29th was gonna be this thing, the whole day. I'm gonna do the whole day.
Okay. Okay.
I might have to talk to you about that because that probably I'll talk to you about that a little later because there's an event going on that I know most people who would want to help support that. I don't know if they'll be able to attend.
This is why we're talking about it now.
Yeah, but I'll talk to you.
We'll talk.
We'll have an announcement soon. Something big that we're doing over on Orc and Beans. So be prepared. But guys, subscribe to Orc and Beans over on Twitch. He's killing it over there, doing some great WWE streams.
Bye.
I freaking love him. It's been a blast to watch him. He had one last night that I sadly missed because he did an awesome main event, but I'll have to check it out on his YouTube channel as well, where he plays all of his videos that he's done. Orc and Beans 14. Subscribe over to his Twitch, YouTube. Just do it all. He's taking over the gaming stream. And guys, now Corey and I. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, we do have that watch party coming up Wednesday. We were really busy this last week. We had a lot of reaction videos that you guys can check out. We also did a Star Wars Celebration recap video. I highly recommend you do that. We also did some trailer reactions to Star Wars Visions Volume 2. And to the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Make sure you guys check out those trailers after this one, but make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss the watch party. What's that?
Be prepared for Vision watch parties too.
Yes, Vision's watch party coming in the early May, so that way we can get ready for May 4th. I think is when they're releasing Volume 2, so it's just gonna be a great time over at the Bat Channel. But we thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, it helps us out so much. Replay crew, this is you guys too. We need you guys. Smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And leave a comment if you're watching on the replay crew. Let us know what's your score for.
Hashtag Trey was right. It is the 22nd. 22nd.
I'm just right all damn week.
Keep that day open, everyone.
Guys, thank you so much. Trey was just right this entire season of Mandalorian. I'm going to be right again. You just wait and see. If I'm not right and Corey's right about the Mandalorian being the spy, we're changing our channel name for a week. Did I say a month? Fine. Yeah, I'll hold it to a month. Corey's going to ruin our analytics forever, but whatever. We'll see you guys later. I'm Trey of the Bat Channel with Super Bro Corey, and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same Bat Channel. See you later, guys.
Yeah, folks.